Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Talks. I am Coop. I want to thank everybody for coming out, for tuning in. Sean and AG are back. They're going to be with me shortly. I'm going to kick off today's show. First of all, I want to thank everybody so much for their love and support. Hip Hop Talks is the fastest growing pod that I've been a part of, and I've done a few now. So I'm just super thankful and super humbled. Make sure y'all click like, subscribe, share the page, tell the people, tell a friend. We got another great show lined up tonight. We have Ruben Wood from Quality Control coming on. It's going to be a great appearance. I have some great questions for that guy. What's good, people? See everybody in here. Salute. Click like and subscribe and share. I want to tell everybody, please go to our YouTube page and check out my brief but powerful interview with Jessica White. We were only able to speak for about 6 minutes, but there were some jewels and some gems that she really got to share. Let's make sure we support this Black woman on her endeavor to do Bombshell Academy. And shout out to Jessica White for giving Coop and Hip Hop Talks the leeway and the forum to even just speak with her briefly. Like, she's pretty big. When you tune into the interview, I posted the interview on Twitter. It's on YouTube. It's now on our Facebook page. You can follow Hip Hop Talks and join our group on Facebook as well. We're growing and expanding. TikTok page is popping. But speaking of popping, which is why I pulled up first, it appears that 45 got an assassination attempt put out for him. And one of the funny things that'll show you where hip hop and how hip hop has grown is that as soon as all of this happened, a meme went up. And the meme was a 50 Cent, the Get Rich or Die Trying cover, with Donald Trump on the cover. You gotta love the sense of humor that people have about this. But what really happened is that 50 song Many Men, the streaming went up 250%. It racked up 2.2 million US on-demand audio streams between July 13th to 15th, notching over 2,000 in sales in the same period. So we impact culture even when 45's getting shot at, 50's in on it. But seeing how everybody's been so concerned with 45 and the attempt on his life, I created a quick Hip Hop Talks EP. We're going to take some of our favorite rap songs, some of our favorite gangster rap songs for Trump and his crew to ride to, and we're going to swap them out with some of your favorite liberals. So track 5, we have Super Thug by Joe Biden. I figure since Joe Biden already has a speech impediment, it won't be hard to get him to say what over again. If I die tonight, I took one polarizing figure in Tupac, and I transition to another controversial and polarizing figure. Hillary Clinton is doing If I Die Tonight. Who Shot You? By none other than the one and only Barry Sanders. I mean, not Barry Sanders, Bernie Sanders. The crew's coming. We have Murder Was the Case by Bill Maher. And last but not least, we have the I Shot You remix with Barack Obama, Gavin Newsom, Bill Clinton, Jon Stewart, and Maxine Waters playing Foxy Brown. Salute to everybody in the chat. Troublesome 92, he was fat like Trump. Yeah, what's good, people? So that's all we really have to say about this. Even when there are things happening in the conservative white man's world, we can see where hip hop has literally like impacted the culture and improved things and made it talking points and made it fun and made it enjoyable again. So shout out to 50 for the boost in sales. It only took 45 getting shot at for it to happen. AG and Sean are coming on shortly, guys. We got to get them all queued up. This is going to be the best playlist ever. Can you imagine Jon Stewart closing out the I Shot You remix on Donald Trump? But anyway, we're going to transition and move on into our next segment. Young Thug gets a new judge. Sean, what's good?
What's good, homie?
How are you?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm jet lagging a little bit, but I'm good, man.
Good. We got a lot to talk about today. Have you read up on this, on Young Thug getting a new judge? What are your thoughts about it?
It's interesting.
Give the people a rundown on what exactly like this entails and how this came about.
Yes. So the previous judge, she actually pulled out. Shakira Ingram.
She pulled out.
She pulled out. Yeah,
Oh,
she removed herself. Put
oh.
yeah. Sorry, 2 minutes in, I'm already going crazy. Yo, yo, relax. All right, relax. She
Oh, you relax. How about that?
Shakira Ingram, the sister here, she actually was she decided to remove herself from the case itself. She wanted no more parts of it. And they replaced her with Judge Paige Reese. So let me say that one more time. Shakira Ingram removed herself and she's been replaced by Judge Paige Reese. So this is a very interesting turn of events. This might be one of the weirdest cases I've ever seen on display, man. I've been part of different investigations and cases in the, for my personal life and all that good stuff, military, all of that. This is the most intricate one because it got so many different layers and textures to it that no one wants to be a part of it. I would not be surprised if Judge Paige Reese decided to pull off of this as well, if it doesn't go down the road that she thinks is going to go down. I don't think no one would be a part of this at all because it's so murky, so much is going on. You got the hip hop police involved. You got, different things, and you out of Atlanta, so you know how nasty it is over there in Atlanta. So it's one of those things where no one wants to be a part of this, and it's been dragging out for a long time. And I don't even know if we're going to see the end of the tunnel, like at the end of the tunnel anytime soon. So I just looking at Judge Shakira leaving, and they're bringing in Judge Paige. That's an interesting look, man. It might not be looking good for the homie, man. So I don't know, bro. What you hearing in Atlanta? Are you hearing anything in the streets of Atlanta?
I don't know if ambivalent is the word, but I'm not excited. I'm not surprised, but I'm not excited. I'm going to tell you what. First of all, as a black woman living in Atlanta, this is probably the last case that you want to become notable and notarized for, because it's something that's going to carry years and years after it subsides. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, especially locally in the city. And so I don't know what this means for his freedom, but I will say this. They call it a system, and when you get locked up, they call it getting processed because of what the process does to you. You know what I'm saying? The process literally drains you, not just financially, but emotionally and psychologically, then affects your physical. And I've never seen a case in this city drawn out like this one. It is starting to feel to me like, first of all, if you had a smoking gun, pun intended, you should use it because it shouldn't take this long.
Right.
And it speaks to the fact that possibly, well, you don't have a smoking gun, and so you're going to try to exhaust all his resources.
Facts.
This feels more like an exhaustion of his resources at this point, to make him cave emotionally, psychologically, and mentally, and then physically. Like it's the chess game that the system plays with you, quite frankly, when they have them under arrest and incarceration and institutionalization. So I'm seeing what often happens to black men, quite frankly, who have a lot of money and resources. They don't just make it a point to try to take you down. They try to drain your bank account as well, because that also stops generational wealth. Puts you little black boys right back on the street where you belong. Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
So,
And now
yeah.
it's in the balance for him. It's hanging, like you said, the resources, every single day, the resources are being depleted to the point where he's going to have to start digging into that reserve. You know what I mean? And now you got a new judge. So now you got to present all evidence, all facts, all whatever to this new judge. So you're starting from ground zero all over again. You haven't even got to litigation with this new judge yet. So now you in the whole cycle. You're back into to rinse, repeat. You know what I mean? It's a lot to deal with mentally. It's a lot to deal with. From just a toll. The mental toll within itself is a burden. and he had to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say it's unfortunate because we don't know the outcome. We don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, and we don't know what the brother did. So it's one of those things where you got to kind of see how it plays out. One thing I can tell you, most of the rappers that we've seen that gone through something like this, they never came back the same. Not many came back and hit the ground back running. Think about Bobby Shmurda. Shmurda was on fuego before he went over, and now it's like he got hit twerking with some other goofy stuff.
I mean, Sean, not even to be funny, we watched this happen down here, 15 years ago, roughly, with Tip.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. How about this? T.I.'s recovery from jail, I think, is like second to only Tupac's. But I'm a firm believer that the position that Wayne sits in, actually T.I. was sitting there first, and had he not gone to jail, we would possibly be talking about T.I. the way that we talk about Wayne. Absolutely.
And so Tip was up there. Like Tip was like,
yeah, like there was an actual moment while Wayne was in his prime, like a legitimate time where it's like, oh no, T.I. won, Wayne 2.
Facts.
That was a legitimate thing at one point. And so
absolutely.
So and he's had the best response that I've seen since Tupac's incarceration, but it's
and it still was an uphill climb, because remember, by the time Tip got to Paper Trail, that was like Paper Trail was the one that took him out of here. He had everything leading up to it. Paper Trail is like Wayne's, Carter 3. It was like, it was in that kind of in that arena, because it was the crossover. Everybody was gravitating to that joint.
I actually think Paper Trail is better than Carter 3, but I know I'm in the minority in that regard.
Paper Trail was special. I mean, for me, not being a fan of that kind of music at that time in my life, I gravitated to Paper Trail because he was going bonkers on Paper Trail.
Oh, I'm Illy, rebel for the hell of it, hella rich, never have to sell a brick again. Must I tell a bitch again? Shit that I'm addressing is on some next level shit. Never been fucked in the game. I'm celibate.
Going crazy. Beats were going crazy on there. The production was great. He was confident. He was in a whole different zone. And after that, a lot of stuff started going kind of south for him. He had a big slowdown. It was a big slowdown.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's almost like, you're not the same person once you've been institutionalized. I keep trying to get people to understand that being institutionalized is different. Like when you have to sit there, when you have to stay there, what it does, like you're not the same. So even your thoughts and how you process them, your fear level, your intensity level, your energy, like all those things, because being incarcerated makes you, quite frankly, contemplate so many things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And art is kind of supposed to flow, so it can fuck with the flow.
Right.
I feel like Tupac is special, but part of why he recovered is that he's like, no, I wrote like 300 books worth of rhymes while I was there. It's like, oh, so all he did was really write to stay like alive, alert, psychologically, mentally, like stay invested into, what he knew he was getting out to do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where we are with it. Where the hell is AG at? He's still coaching kids soccer? Nigga boring.
Yeah, man. So salute the thug. We'll see how it plays out, man. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time, dude. It's been going on for a minute now. And you just deep in, and now we switching judges. It's like, don't nobody think that's just a little bit funky?
And look at the hue. You changing judges and changing the hue.
If it smell like Funkadelic, if it smoke weed like Parliament, you know what I'm saying? Don't be surprised when niggas is singing Atomic Dog then. Like, it's funky.
Facts. It's crazy. It's crazy. What's up, L Bugs? Yo, we got a super chat.
No bond, no bail my nigga.
None. He's not getting it. They're not giving it to him.
He didn't even get like, you know, freedom before the trial. Like, no. Like, you in here, gang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, oh, you want to? They like, oh, you want to know what a gang looks like? We're going to show you that we're the biggest gang in the world. It's what it's reeking of.
We got you right. This what it is. This what you're going to get for it. You know what I mean? Jermaine Johnson with the super chat, $5. Appreciate you, Jermaine. I'm not quick to say free anyone if he's responsible for the murders that he's been accused of. I hope that he's locked away for a long time. I can't agree with you more. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, we don't know what we don't know. That's what the court process is for. That's what all this is for. That's what the trial is for. So again, if he did those things, you know, God rest the soul of those who've been who are the victims, and I hope justice is served properly. But if he didn't, I also hope that justice is served properly where he doesn't get convicted for a crime that he didn't commit. So I'm there with you, fam. Absolutely. But you're innocent until proven guilty. Let's see what happens. I just hope he get a fair shot. You know what I mean? Either way it go, I hope him and the families that are involved get a fair shot in a fair trial. They get a resolution sooner rather than later.
It makes you see, this is what I mean. So the art of war really says that you have to think like your enemy to defeat your enemy. And so understand that it's like, this is also a question. Okay, it's a question of censorship too, Sean. I actually did my senior exit essay in high school on censorship. And this is why. Because think about it. Like, they're really trying to, like, I think they have more rap lyrics than they have proof, is what I'm saying.
Right.
That's very problematic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's crazy. They're going after your freedom of speech.
Right. Like if you got, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, if you got them, like, get them with the law. Yeah. Like if it's murder, death, kill, like red rum, like, prove it.
Right.
Like, and don't prove it in what he be saying in some raps, because it's like, hey, look here, man. The guy that works in the kitchen is from North Philly. The kitchen manager's from North Philly. He was playing We Are the Streets. Like the Locks murdered half of New York on We Are the Streets.
Right. Everybody.
Half the 5 boroughs don't even exist after We Are the Streets. Everybody. Look here. Everybody caught 16 with 1 or 2 in the chamber. Like everybody on every record. You know what I'm saying? Now they fucking got car washes and smoothie bars and make coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Good coffee at that.
I haven't had the coffee. I'd like to try the coffee.
Phenomenal. I sent it to you. Phenomenal.
Kiss and Pops and Son is watching, you know, send Hip Hop Talks.
Yes.
Coffee.
Great coffee.
But that's what I'm saying when I'm saying it's funky. It's like, well, hold on, like, y'all ain't, it's taking y'all this long, like, cooperate and put together evidence and connect all the dots of all this. It's taking this long? What the fuck? Nah, like, look here. Look, I'm walking around free right now because I paid an attorney who used to be the assistant DA for fucking Fulton County where this is going on. Like, he's really the best attorney I've ever seen. He is the reason that my black ass is free. And like those types of dudes, like, they don't, because the same way they think you over there, like, murder, kill, like those guys and girls that make it to like those heights, they won't be on some murder, kill shit too. Like, absolutely. Put this motherfucker away for life, and I'm not gonna sleep till I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the outcome is, man. He got another judge, so we'll see how this work out. So again, let's see what happens. So cool. Let's go to your next one, man. Let's go to Meth Red and Primo, man, taking over Canada. How you feel about that?
I love it.
Finally get some love by our OGs, man. By our legends.
First of all, no, I'm not on parole. I am on non-report though. I'm on non-report. So I tell you, like, my probation officer told me, Double Barrel, she was like, so don't fuck this up. I was like, oh yeah, I got you. Like that. Like, oh, that's all you got. She's like, yeah. She's like, take this certificate and, like, you know, go live your life. I was like, cool.
Sir. So yeah, man. Yo, peace to the show. I enjoy this. Subscribe, everybody, please.
I want people to understand this, that it's like, well, Canada's always had a thing for Wu-Tang Clan and Def
Mm-hmm.
Squad. Like, this isn't actually anything new. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Wu-Tang and Def Squad are big in Canada, and Meth and Red are like, for all like the antics and all the how high and how high isms and all that, like these are two
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really savvy dudes. They know where their bread gets buttered. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm finding that in today's rap climate in America, the OGs are respected more when they play Canada, when they play Germany,
Yeah.
when they play Amsterdam, when they play Australia and London. Like, it just feels like, I was just
Yeah.
talking to the dude. He was like, yeah, he's like, I went to Brixton for a rap show. It was like, he's like, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for people, like in terms of how they gravitate towards it. It's almost kind of like, not to be funny, like, how excited do you get when you see like LeBron dunk a basketball now? It's like, oh man, it's like, that's a good dunk for your age, but it's like, I've been watching you dunk the basketball since you were like 15 years old. Like, you're like
Right.
40, 41, 42. I've been literally watching you do this half my life. And
Right.
so
Right.
it can lose some of the effect. Some of that happens to us here, even as like core rap fans. It's like, anytime, like how about this? Like, the last time like somebody like a Nas or Thought come in town, people be like, Coop, you going to see him? I'd be like, man, I've seen this thing like 3, 4, 5 times already. Like, what do you mean am I going to see him?
Right. Right.
Like, people in Canada don't look at it that way, from that mentality, because
No.
they're like, this motherfucker might not ever come back again, or it might
Absolutely.
be 20 years till we see them again.
Yeah.
And so the demand is different.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I'm always going to be a fan. It's better than, I'm not going to call them punk ass kids anymore, but it's better than what happened at Summer Jam, or excuse me,
There's,
or the concert / media event that used to be Summer
yeah.
Jam. Rest in peace, because that shit dead.
It's trash. No, you're right, bro. I think other countries appreciate hip hop more than we do in America. Straight up. Everywhere overseas, everywhere I've been overseas, they appreciate hip hop on a whole different level. No
Correct.
matter how many times they've seen an artist, they're going to come out support. They buy the records, they stream the records, they don't complain. They always show love. They always show love to the legends, because they love hip hop in its purest form. When I was in Japan, '99, I remember that was the era of Ja Rule. That was the Ja Rule era, and Ja Rule was like getting mad play over there, and they were singing the hook. They knew the lyrics. They knew everything. They knew Ja Rule B-sides. They knew Ja Rule before the singing hooks came along, and they were like really vibing out to it. You can go to I went to clubs in Japan, Australia, everywhere. I'm playing ball and everything, and we used to be like, "Yo, they showing more love. They're more hyped about the song coming on in a club than we were." The DJs were over there going bonkers, and we sitting there like, we know this, we know who this is, and they were like, "Yo, they're going crazy." You know what I'm saying? So they always showed a different love and a different appreciation for hip hop, in my opinion, than the United States, and that's why our legends tend to travel overseas and get more love and get more support. Some of them stay overseas doing tours. You know what I mean? Because it's always sold out, because the people are going to show up. You're not going to you don't even hear bad reviews. No matter how the concert go, they internalize that. They don't send that out to the public. They don't get into the media and say, "Yo, this concert was trash." They still show love.
Look here, I used to try to go and see the Roots, like, and I mean a prime Roots, like a Illadelph Things Fall Apart, like Roots, and it seems like outside of Smoking Grooves '96, every time I had some money to try to catch them, the niggas was overseas. Like,
Right.
almost every time, it's like, when the next Roots show? It's like, oh, they're in Europe again. Oh, they're here again. They ain't not here though. They didn't come here. Like, I didn't feel like they came here and stayed here for even more than a year, until like after When Things Fall Apart blew up with You Got Me. Like, other than that, they were to go. Like, the crew that made Do You Want More and Illadelph, and even When Things Fall Apart, until it like became something different. It's like, oh no, them niggas was gone. And I know, because I used to look up their itinerary to try to go see them. This is before you had internet, and sometimes you had to actually buy a magazine to actually find out when your artist was touring that you wanted to see. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, 97, I'm trying to go see the Roots. It's like, no, nigga, we in the projects. No, nobody got no dial up around here. It's like, we had to go buy the source when the Roots would make the source.
Right.
Actually checked and see like when they would be doing shit, or like you'd be watching MTV News for a minute, and the Roots are going on tour for it. You know what I mean? Kurt Loder ass, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I had a brief conversation with Paz from De La Soul. in Nashville when they was kicking off the New York State of Mind tour, I think earlier this year, and was it last year, and he was like, because the Nashville crowd, they really wasn't vibing in the De La Soul at that time. They was like, it was kind of weak. And I had this conversation at the airport, and we about to board, and he said, "This is why I love going overseas, because we go on stage and they're rapping word for word
with us,
and it's packed up. By the time we get there, it's packed. They're not coming in, they're not walking in, they're not distracted, they're not even got their cameras up. They're actually in tune, locking step, and that was powerful because I was back there doing my thing, with the concert and everything. I was giving out hoodies, from the Woo hoodies and Nas hoodies to fans that were out there, and I was like, yo, they don't even deserve this. Like, the crowd was weak. It was weak. People walking around, going to concession stands. You got De La Soul on stage. You don't know how many times you're going to get a chance to see De La Soul in Nashville like that, and you're not even showing respect and homage.
I'm gonna get my money's worth, Sean.
Absolutely.
I'm hooting, hollering, partying. Like, yeah, we doing all that. I'm rapping the words.
Absolutely.
Ain't coming to no show to be sitting up here looking all cool and shit. I'm supposed to be. This is actually when I'm supposed to actually act like a fan.
Exactly.
Music, isn't that what you came here for? Because even when I've covered stuff media wise, it's like, oh no, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of Kanye. I voted for Kanye the last 2 elections. And from the shit that you can see going on, you can see why. But that's another conversation for another day. Hey, Sean, you want to know? Can I sidebar right quick?
Go ahead.
I think listen. I had a sincere thought. We've got it all wrong with this whole hip hop thing. We need to open up an old folks' home and a mental institution right next to each other, side by side, like connecting resorts. And that way, people like Biden and Trump, we can just take them back and forth depending on what they need to go to. It's like, well, Trump is insane, but when he gets old enough, we're going to put him on the old folks' side. And Biden gets old by the minute, which is probably driving him insane. We might have to take him over to the asylum. Sean, we can make a fortune.
Oh, he's already there.
We need to hire somebody with their PhD, doctorate in psychology. We're starting an old folks home and insane asylum. It's gonna be called hip hop care.
Give me Kanye. They're already there.
Hip hop care. Okay, I just wanted to share that. I was like, watching these motherfuckers. I was like, we need an old folks home and an insane asylum. We can make a fortune.
We need more than that. That's not even enough. There was CJ Kid
chat on the board. Yeah.
Yes. CJ Kid, appreciate you, bro, with the $10 chat. Peace and blessings, guys. Hope that operation went well. Got my certificate of completion of studio basics so I can work in recording studios, but I'm still learning. Hope to share more with you guys. Yo, that's love, CJ. Yo,
CJ,
congrats, Homer.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that, CJ. Hit me up, man. Shoot me a line. Let me know what's good.
Yeah, where's CJ from? Where's CJ at? Where you from?
I think CJ from New York.
Okay.
CJ from the city.
Yeah, CJ, get at us, man.
Yeah. CJ, shoot me a line. Toastmasters, learning the theories of music. I'm proud of you, brother. Excellent shit.
No doubt. Jermaine with another super chat, $5. Asians are keeping breaking culture alive, similar to how white folks are keeping jazz alive. 2 art forms that Black folks have abandoned. Unfortunate. That's true. Brandon Roger, $10 chat. Appreciate you, Brandon. As someone who been in New York State of Mind, Chicago, and the KD3 show at MSG, MSG crowd was 10 times better. Coop can vouch. Absolutely. I mean, you got New York's own at the MSG crowd. You know what I mean?
That is one of the better rap shows that I've been to. As far as I don't compare a solo rap show to a selection of acts rap show, but as far as solo rap shows go, the MSG KD, yeah, it was pretty. It's up there. I'm trying to be objective. I don't know if I can think of one that's better offhand. As far as a solo show, think about it. Not like Smoking Cruise 96 was Gangstar, Outkast, The Roots, The Fugees. You know what I'm saying? D'Angelo, Erykah, Outkast. Everybody was there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, but as far as like a solo mission, it's like, yeah, that's one of the better solo missions that I've seen live, if not the best. Yeah.
Absolutely. And CJ said he's from Jersey, Newark, man. Yo, yeah, and your brethren from Jersey getting smoked by Cardi B on live. CJ, you may need to help him out. Shout out to
You want to
Jersey.
talk about that right quick? What do you think about that?
I think that she did what she had to do. I don't disagree with her. I'll be honest. I saw people saying, yo, take the mic from her and all of that. Nah, let her talk, because I think that Joe, it seems like Joe has taken a turn on her. It really seems that way, straight up. Like, and she made a comment about that. She said since he interviewed Shorty, and we know who that is, it was like, you know, I'm on a campaign to degrade, to degrade Cardi. And I'm not sure if that's the case, what he's doing, but he has been shitting on her a lot. You know what I mean? Whether it's true or not, he's been like really on top on like going at her, like straight up.
So, and I don't know this, and it's kind of funny because we're going to get into this when we talk about Cam and Mase, or should I say Children of the Corn, because it looks like Killer Cam and Murder Mase pop back up.
Yes.
Days. That's Murder Mase that we're talking. That's not Mason Betha from Bad Boy, Harlem World. Haha, like, no, that ain't that dude.
Yes.
You know, I say this as somebody that can be extremely critical. I think as people notice. How is the rhetoric that Joe is espousing towards Cardi? Like, is it tangible? Like, when I say things about a certain rapper, like, well, he hasn't made a good album in 7 years. Well, I'm not wrong when I'm saying that. Am I navigating and steering the argument to a degree, debate-wise, towards my point? Oh, absolutely. But it is like based in something that's fundamentally true. You know, is any of Joe's rhetoric rooted in anything fundamentally true? Because if it's not, then that means that it's personal. And I mean, and Sean, like, we just got to be honest with ourselves. And here's something people need to understand about media on every level. Oh no, everybody has biases. Like, the hardest part of the job is being objective through the biases that you have, which is a lot of the time why you should actually just go ahead and give it a caveat beforehand. It's like, well, you know, totally biased. So don't, like, you know, it's like, who's the best dope boy rapper you ever heard? Was Pusha T. You know what I'm saying? But I'm biased, so that's going to be my answer. So don't take it from me. Just listen to my argument for it. It's the art of debate, public speaking, and the English language. We call it vernacular. This would be a pigeon of the vernacular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can't pick and choose who you want to go after, though, because some of the things that he's saying about her, you know, not dropping an album in a long time, you can say that about a lot of other people, man. Straight up. You got to keep that same.
This is what I mean. Okay, so that rhetoric, okay, so that's true. She hasn't dropped an album in a long, long time. So if he's skewing the argument that way, the rebuttal would be, but she doesn't have to. She's fucking Cardi. And this isn't 1994, it's 2024, which means you can actually get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, viably. Like, the hip hop machine works totally different now. You have to have 5 or 6 different skills on top of some microphone skills.
Facts.
Like, if you really want to, like, succeed, you know what I mean? Different. Like, you can just rap at it if you want to, you know what I'm saying? And people will love you and people will respect you. But the way this game gets played, especially in the major leagues, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You got to be able to compete at all times.
So it's like, you know, could there be some she don't have another album in her going on? It's like, yeah, but some of that could be because she got 6 or 7 other things going on. When Joe was coming up, you used to just get to rap and do like 1 or 2 things and you were cool. It's like, you got to do your press run, you got to do your feature run, you got to do your album, we're going to do your photo shoot. Now you're in the machine, go on tour and make yourself some money because you owe us $650,000, nigga.
No
you
doubt.
know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I mean, I look at it differently. I look at it like, if he got to keep that same energy across board. It doesn't matter how he feels about her. Keep that energy across board. And a lot of times these guys, they pick and choose who they want to go at, who they want to support, and how they want to support them. You know what I mean? Keep everything above board. That way, everything's equitable. You know what I mean? If it's not equitable, then why even have a discussion about it? Because I don't think she's all the way wrong. I don't think that she's. I feel like where her argument is, there are other things you can talk about as opposed to keep talking about me. You know what I mean? We had a relationship.
There's plenty going on. There's plenty going on. We got a full show.
That's a lot of ladies.
Yeah. We've only been here 30 minutes. We've already talked about Meth and Red being in Canada. We've talked Young Thug and the political system and some of the tactics used within the political system, in particular the prison industrial complex. We've talked about 45 getting 50 some streams. I came up with the epic Murder Was the Case inspired EP. Like, we just covered a lot of ground in 35 minutes. So it's more than doable. It's more than doable. It's what you make of it. What up, AG?
Peace, bro. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
What are your thoughts
on the Cardi B and Joe thing?
Yeah, since we're here.
I mean, Joe just be talking, man. Like, if I'm being honest, like, you know, say Joe's one of my favorite MCs ever, but bro just be talking, man. I don't be paying attention to the way he be saying too much.
What do you think of him as a podcast and a podcast host? I mean, because he's the game-changing agent in this game to most people.
Yeah, he was number one on the media list, but to be honest, like, the cast of, you know, characters he has now, for me, doesn't, you know, hit as hard as it did when he had Roy and Maul on there. You know what I mean? I think that was, you know, peak Joe Budden podcast. And when they left, you know, he retooled some things and it was entertaining and stuff, but it's a clear, you know, change in the tone of the show, I feel like.
I mean, I think
the bigger he gets, to Sean's point, my bad to cut you off, but the bigger he gets and more well-renowned he is in the media, the more he seems compromised, I feel like.
I find that to be fascinating. You know, it's like this, you know, most of Prince's best albums are with the Revolution, but he still got other bangers. And so there are times when I still hear, you know, Joe talk, that it's like, oh no, that's the talk game that, like, you know, took him to this heights on this side of the game. You know what I'm saying? And has a dope ass MC. He gets inside information that very few people can get and gets it from an MC's perspective. Like, that's hard to do. So he's special in that regard too, that he was a dope enough MC that these other people talk to him in a manner that they may not talk to somebody else, like a academics or a Vlad. I think they have more of a, it's more of a like, yo, remember when we was backstage at and such happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has that in his bag. And so I do get what you're saying, but it's like, I think some of that is just like, well, you know, it take great teams to win championships. So he's like still the same star player to me. It's just the cast, supporting cast isn't as good. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And he offers a different vantage point, like you said, because he comes from rap. But to me, the show has moved more away from rap and hip hop talk, you know, to, you know, overarching, you know, media conglomerate. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the talks about hip hop were more pure when Roy and Maul were on there. And nothing against the current, you know, set of hosts, but the tone has changed.
Nah, nothing against them. Ish is trash.
Yeah, I mean, but just overall, like, I don't think, you know, their hip hop acumen is up as high as it was when Roy and Maul was on there as supporting characters for Joe. That's just how, you know, I view it.
It's a different dynamic.
Do you think that was intentional?
To a degree, yes.
That could have been strategically done, like on purpose.
To grow more, to reach more,
I don't think it's to grow more. Pause. I don't think it's to grow more. I think it was when you are threatened by people that are beside you, you got to remove them in some fashion. Because you got to be the alpha. You got to be the alpha again. And if anyone is closer or nipping at the tail to be the alpha, and Rory and Maul can hold their weight because they know just as much. Keep in mind, you know, Maul brother. You know who Maul brother is? Like his blood brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Who?
So
hip hop.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Biggs is his brother. That's his real brother.
Yeah. Biggs is hip hop. Biggs and hip hop is brothers.
Right. So you surround yourself by dudes that are more like yes to you or your little homies, And that's going to go into our next segment, because now you're the big dog, you're the OG. They're not going to challenge you but so much. They may try to challenge you for banter's sake, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they don't have the acumen that you have when it comes to hip hop pedigree. When you got someone like Rory and Mobb, who did their homework, who has industry ties as well, if not just as much. So now there's a clash because there's a threat there.
So I will actually tell both of you that I believe the truth is actually in the middle of what both of you are saying, because I think that you're both correct. I think it's some of both. I think some of it is like, first of all, it's just competitive nature of man, for one. You know what I'm saying? It's egos, it's money, it's notoriety. It's like, you know, when you win the championship, everybody want to get a new contract. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, nigga, like, you might be the star of the team, but, you know, you're the MVP of the league. But we made the all-star team. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want our contract and we want, you know, our fair amount of shine, and I'm gonna need 15 to 20 shots a game, fam. Like them 7 to 10 shots I was getting when I first come in the league, I'm not taking that anymore. But also, I do think there's an ego part on Joe's side where it's like, well, I don't want nobody as connected as me that knows as much as me. That way, the nature of the threat won't exist on this set anymore.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Anytime you're threatened like that, and you have an ego like Joe, and he's a narcissist. He said it himself. He knows himself,
absolutely,
right?
Unequivocally.
It changes the game.
Well, can I add this, because Joe is good at playing both sides, right? This case in point with the Cardi B thing. I think they've moved away from a lot of, you know, deep-rooted hip-hop talks, right? But when something comes up, Joe leans on the crutch often. He'll say it, well, I don't want to talk about that because my voice is loud, and then if I say it, it goes viral and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to be a rapper. If I give my opinion, you know, it's going to make waves or whatever. He never bit his tongue on, you know, that stuff before. You know what I mean? And then to your point, Sean, like, he used that as a crutch to not speak on specific things, but then he picks and chooses when he does want to use his loud voice and speak on certain things or whatever. So that's to your point.
That's all I'm saying. That's be equitable. Don't sway because you're still in that space, regardless.
Yep.
There will be times where we're going to have a difficult conversation about something that we may not want to have a conversation about. I had to have a difficult conversation about Ghostface album. And y'all, I have an email right now out to Ghostface. Just to be that's being transparent. That, yo,
you tried to dodge that bullet, but
yeah, but
you did try to run.
I tried to run, pause. But you know, I came back like, yo, it's not what I know, you know, Tony Starks can do.
Well,
email is in his manager's inbox. Come to Hip Hop Talks. Let's have a discussion.
Well, let's move to the next topic and discuss.
Yes. Let's get on these super chats real quick. We got 007. What up, homie? The $5 super chat. The game is that way now because it caught up to what the top artists could do. They didn't just rap; they brought more to the table. Big Pac, Nas, J. Absolutely. Jermaine Johnson, another super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Joe just says that Cardi don't rap, no albums. True. Stop the Nicki comparisons. Nicki have albums and standout moments against GOATs. That's his point. Absolutely. Tracy G, $10 chat. Appreciate you, Tracy. Okay, fellas, the album of the year needs some correction. Rhapsody can't be one if you have more than 13 songs. Common, Eminem, Rhapsody, all solid projects, but album of the year goes to Cole. Cole, Eminem, might delete later, and Lupe Samurai. Yo, Tracy standing on that Cole Hill.
Hey, I'm not mad at the Lupe moving up when we do our end of the year, you know, because it was too early mid-year, but I'm not mad at it moving up close to the top 10.
Good.
I hope Cole doesn't let Tracy down. Don't let Tracy down. All right, what else?
Okay, please read the super chats, please.
Yo, Killer Cam and Murder Mase go at J Prince. Y'all mind if I kick this off and kick it to y'all?
That's you, bro. Go ahead.
I had to think about this one long, man, because I'm like, I love the way Mase broke this down. I love the way he dissected this and really, really talked about the importance of not just being an OG, but what that entails. because there's a lot of goofy people out here that want to be OGs and want to be, you know, these tough guys, and they want to be mentors and all this stuff, and they don't even have the type of mindset to be that. And Jay Prince is one of them, because we see things from Jay Prince for years, and we have respect for Jay Prince. Not saying we still don't, but it's teeter-tottering right now, because you're starting to see some goofy stuff out of him and others. He's not the only one. There's others out there that do a lot of goofy stuff, and they're supposed to be the quote-unquote OGs. And I'm proud that Mase turned back into Murder Mase, because Murder Mase doesn't care. You know what I mean? Murder Mase had people on his head top, pause, in New York, you know, when he was like going through some stuff, and he didn't care. I went back and listened to some Murder Mase joints, some freestyles when he was with the G Unit, and he was like, I dare one of y'all to come and touch me. He was talking about Dipset and all those guys. I dare one of y'all to come and touch me, because he stand by what he stand by. And the things that he was talking about with Jay Prince, I've always felt like he picks and chooses the battles that he want to get involved as well. Because if you were the OG and you're representing, you know, Drake during the Kanye thing, why can you represent Drake through the Kendrick thing? Why you can represent Drake through other situations when it was real, you know, real things at hand? And for him to even jump in and getting involved with the Shakur Stevenson situation, that was weird. That was ill-intent. That was crazy that he even got involved in that. So I'm glad they checked him. A lot of other OGs need to be checked, because a lot of OGs out there are fake OGs. Like Mase said, you're 60 years old, you want to be an OG, you want to be in the streets. You fail. And I agree with him. When he said it, I rewinded back several times. I know a lot of fake OGs out there. I had this OG came up to me and said, yo, let me put you under my wing. I'm like, you don't even have the bandwidth to put me under your wing. I'm passing you right now, homie. Get out of my face. I had my cousin at the family reunion. My cousin Barkim, shout out to Barkim. He was like, what the day's mathematics? I texted AG. I said, I don't know the day's mathematics.
He did.
You know what I mean? And he was like, his power refinement. I'm like, but you doing drugs. What do you mean? You talking about power refinement, and you asking me what the day's mathematics. I love Barkim, but Barkim be stealing from people, man, and talking about power refinement. You know what I mean? And he used to be the OG. Like, he knows his stuff.
So you're telling me a klepto who uses drugs can't teach you how to do the knowledge?
Can't teach you nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying as a cocky way, but I'm like, how you going to ask me about today's mathematics and you stealing stuff to make mathematics? You did. You talking about power refinement, and you out here thieving. So there's a lot of fake OGs out there. Salute to Mase, salute to Killer, Pink Horsepower, Pause, the shirts and everything. Thank you, Dipset Couture. I love what they're doing, and I'm glad they're standing up and they're standing their ground on that as well. And shout out to my cousin, the Barkim. I still love you, but you don't have the bandwidth, man. And stop sitting for my grandmother. We know what you're getting. You're getting like pork chops at the freezer, man. What you doing? Do some pork chop out the. I'm talking to my grandmother, and Barkim stole the pork chop out the freezer, man, and walked out the door.
Yo, that's wild.
Asking me today's mathematics. What you mean today's mathematics? What are you talking about?
Wow.
My bad. Go ahead, Coop AG. Go ahead, my bad. It got off my chest.
AG, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna be brief, man. I took away two things from the clip. Real G's move in silence, man. What I respect about Mase, like you said, it brought Murder Mase back. Like, dude ain't get loud. He ain't get no extra bass in his voice. He was looking dead in the camera and just spoke his piece. He didn't have to use no crazy profanity, and really, broke Jay Prince down. You know what I'm saying? And then kept it a buck while doing so. And I respect Mase for standing on that. You could tell I was cracking up because Cam, you could tell it was a proud moment for Cam. He's like, yo, that's the guy that I know. That's the guy that I grew up with right there. So, that was dope to see. But, Mase was spitting some real stuff or whatever. And then, like you said, if you of a certain age trying to be in the street life, then what did you really accomplish? You know what I'm saying? So, and I like it when he said, I don't respect what these OGs, what these old niggas say. That's why I always had problems growing up. I'm like, who is this guy to be telling me? You know what I'm saying? Because that's a nugget right there, because we've all been there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people who call themselves quote unquote OGs, really did, maybe fail in life or whatever, and they see something in you and they try to live vicariously through you. So they like try to, like you said, Sean, oh, let me take you under, what I'm saying, my wing and school you, little homie, or whatever. Like, nah, what I'm saying? I'm going to be what you aspired to be, but you didn't, what I'm saying? So you're not going to ride my coattails on this wave, you know what I mean? So you'll see a lot of that in the hood too. But
Facts.
But with the Jay Prince situation, kind of like me and Sean was saying with the Joe Budden speaking on picking and choosing in certain topics, like, jumping in the fray during this whole situation was weird behavior to me, because quiet as a church mouse during the whole Kendrick Lamar, just thrashing Drake pause during this whole battle. And, we didn't hear anything. And I don't know, it was said that Wack 100 said some crazy disrespectful stuff to Jay Prince. I don't know what was said. I didn't even fact check that. But, he didn't say anything on that front either. So when you, like May said, when you're picking and choosing your gangster, then it looks kind of funny. You know what I mean? So, but, they said what had to be said. Hopefully, move on from it. Cooler heads will prevail, and then everything will be behind them at this point. But I think it was dope of Mase to speak his piece, because sometimes people will come in and think they could big boy you on any front. You know what I'm saying? Like Mace's, former pastor. He got his little sports show. Like I said, he, his voice might be a little higher octave than some of the rest of us, but he ain't gonna let nobody punk him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I respect that. So that's what I took away from
it. The first thing that I did after I watched the initial clip, which I think was about 19 minutes, I did something I rarely do. I clicked subscribe to their page, actually. Because I think it might be the realest shit that I heard this year from any sort of media commentator or post. I'm with you, AG. The execution of it was so matter of fact and so steady and so stone cold and steely that it was almost like, you ever see somebody be so cool about something? It's like, you want to know what? This nigga's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, he was coming off like, you want to know what? He's being way too calm about this. Nah, this nigga a problem. Like, dudes that behave that way be on some, you know what I'm saying? And so it gave off that vibe, but it was also very respectful in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of moments, but the tonality of it is really what struck me. And I think the strongest thing that he said that got me to thinking was when he said, trying to be a gangster, you 60? It's like, what is he trying to be, a street dude at 60? Like, when he said that, I was like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? It hit me hard, because I was thinking now that's where he's got a point. Because you want to know what it made me think about? Like, Jay Prince is pretty much Don Corleone down here in the South. You know what I'm saying? But if you remember, the whole premise of The Godfather 1 is that, Don Corleone got shot because he had gotten older and it started slipping, and he had to teach his sons to take the reins. You know what I'm saying? One son got murdered, the other son was stupid, left with the youngest one. He was the smartest one anyway. But, it occurred to me in this moment, it's like, none of Jay Prince's mentees or children are him. He doesn't have a Michael Corleone to pass it down to. And so the age of the Don is showing. You know what I'm saying? And in moments like this, because to be honest with you, it's like, let's get to the Shakur Stevens side of this just briefly. It's like 50 said about music. The same thing applies to boxing, any form of entertainment, sports, and the arts. Well, if you just want to do it for you, go do that shit in your basement and shut up. Go fight in your basement if you don't want other people to critique your fighting style. If you don't want them to critique your performance. And also, too, with that, it's very valid point of I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not really interested in fights that are on pay-per-view, and I'm a boxing fan. Somebody has to tell me, Coop, you need to watch this new welterweight to see playing on the second card or on the third card, to get me invested into this. It's my nigga, you was on ESPN. It wasn't a pay-per-view fight. And so when they're calling your fight boring, I hate to be the one to break it to you, The boxing promoters have already let it be known that your fights are boring, because if they weren't, you would be on pay-per-view instead of ESPN. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You get what I'm saying?
Indeed.
And so it's like all they really did was tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And he took offense and talking about getting the strap and all this because he's getting in his feelings. And now you got Jay Prince, and you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, take the critique and keep it pushing.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Coop? Do you think that's because people are not taking Cam and Mase serious as like sports journalists in this space right now? Because if Max Kellerman or somebody said that, I can't see him telling Max Kellerman to get strapped. You know what I'm saying? Or the same thing kind of happened with Anthony Edwards, you know, when they was critiquing his game. You know, he was in his feelings about that, and then it was a problem. But if somebody on ESPN said it, I don't think it would, you know, be the same type of energy.
I mean, first of all, I mean, not to be funny. Well, they did play ball. Like, they both like had college ball playing potential, you know, streets, injuries, love for hip hop interfered and interrupted with all that. But let's not act like these dudes like didn't. Like, there's footage on Cam and Mase hooping and hooping fairly well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not like they weren't athletes before. So it's like them doing a sports show. Well, they were athletes once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, part of why I went into the foray of writing about hip hop and doing hip hop podcasts is because I used to rap. You know what I'm saying? I've spent half my life in fucking recording studios. You know what I'm saying? So, and some of your best people actually are the people that weren't necessarily like the best players. It's like, no, like, I'm not saying that Cam and Mase are NBA athletes. Like, Eric Spoelstra, it's a fucking video film guy once. You know what I'm saying? Now he's one of the best coaches of his era, you know? And he never really played. Like, I think he played like Division III or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely something about it, them being stigmatized. But at the same time, too, if you don't respect them, well, for rappers that have actually been outside the way Murder, Mason, Killer Cam have been, well, they mean the most of the dudes you mean like to inviting back into the street, and they almost handled it like on some OG shit. Like, let me show you how OG's supposed to handle this. You don't want to do this with me.
Yeah.
I'm not who you think I am. I will take off this nice suit. We can get in the street and call some real hitters if you like. You know what I'm saying? It's like they did the thing that you would actually want your OGs that have made it out to do, which is kind of tell them like, yo, simmer down, shut the fuck up, and get over it.
Yeah, they were laughing. Mase was laughing. Then he got real serious. He's like, "Yo, I got this one, Killer. Give me the ISO."
Yeah. It's like Larry Bird in the clutch. He's like, no, I'll be taking the ball this time. You just watch me work, young man.
Right.
And Cam was like, oh, you having one of those days? That's the guy I grew up with. Like you said, AG. Right. He's like, oh, that's the dude I grew up with. He's like,
that's my guy. That's the guy.
He's like, that's my guy. He's like, that ain't the guy that I do this show with. That's my guy. Go. Yeah. So
I love it.
I don't, you know, but also too, it's like, and I say this in all seriousness, is like, don't come back with the retort of violence. Like, don't come back with the invitation to fight a rapper. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that would be like the rapper asking you to make an album. You know what I'm saying? Like, come back and fight better. Like, whoop somebody ass and entertain us. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's his name? Tank was taking shots talking about, like, we need to watch to see if there's going to be the curtain. You know what I'm saying? Like, why you letting Tank talk to you like that? Go tell Tank you'll go see him with the strap. Watch what happens. Watch what happens to you if you say that to him. He's not gonna say that to Tank because he know he has to get in the ring with Tank, and that's gonna be a problem enough as it is. It's big problems. So that's where I'm at with that, you know. And I subscribed to the page because I was like, dang, I was like, these guys are really good. And it's like I watched some stuff early on when they first got started, but they got my like and subscribe out of me actually through all this. Yeah. So shit, their rant about everything that happened was more entertaining than his fight. Because I went back and watched the fight, and I was like, this is exactly what they're talking about. The shit's boring. The commentary was better than the fight.
Yeah, but did you watch the clip I sent you about them Cam's interaction with Coach K? Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
That was comedy.
They haven't made it yet. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Yeah.
Look here. When fucking Cam can do what he said, like drop a song and make $400,000 off DSPs right quick, it's like you're doing just fine. I don't care if Coach K gives you the stiff arm, like you'll be all right.
Pause. Whoa.
Yo,
Okay. You know what? We need to check to see if Ruben's here so we can get
that
this.
was crazy. I don't see Ruben just yet. Waiting for him to come on backstage. But yeah, love the show. Again, salute the killer, salute the Mase murder. I don't have OGs. I have mentors. I have like one or two mentors that actually give me pour a lot into the things that I need to know to continue to grow. Pause in my profession, in my career, both personal and professional. You know, one of them, he was in the Marine. He retired from the Marine Corps before I did. He taught me a lot of things. Taught me how to move. Taught me how to continue to navigate. So I don't know what an OG looks like anymore. I know what a mentor looks like.
Right here, Sean. Right here. This is what an OG looks like.
Oh my God, this is terrible.
What am I looking at? They don't even have OGs in what your first.
Put your glasses on. Put your glasses on, Sean.
I'll put mine on.
Dirty, man. I know you're going at, man. That dude is a dirtbag, man. Real talk, man.
I see two funny ass niggas right now.
Yo,
All
you're gonna get what's coming to you, man. Real talk. You're gonna get what's coming to you. Pause. Straight up.
Oh God.
So what? Let me ask you something. Do y'all actually watch Cam and Mace's show? And like, what do you think of it?
All the time.
Very entertaining. Very entertaining.
That's what I mean. I found myself thoroughly entertained. I was like, this is good. Like, I mean, I expect them to have chemistry, but I was like actually thoroughly impressed. And I watched some more clips, and I'm like, no, I was like, I'm gonna start watching the show.
But they know their stuff more importantly.
They do. I got the Paul's hat from them, from that group.
So when I watched the show, I thought of you, Sean, because I think I was like the only more inappropriate niggas currently, you know, on social media than Sean is actually Cam and Mase. They got more pauses than a little bit.
Mase said it like every other sentence. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, and just like the clip that we was talking about with Jay Prince, where they got really real. It was a clip that was circulating a couple weeks ago where Mase had to tell a Big L story. I don't know if you caught that clip. I don't want to spoil it for you.
No. I saw that.
And they, you know, it's times where they get really real on that show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, you know, old street stories, you know, industry rap stories mixed with like sports, you know, journalism and stuff. It's a really entertaining show. For real.
I mean, you know, like once upon a time, I had told somebody I used to do a podcast with that we needed to do a sports show because it's like, no, hip hop and sports, it goes together.
It all goes together.
It does. So, it's a beautiful blend, actually. You know what I'm saying? And it's you know, it's been a fusion of culturally like what we experience. You know what I mean? Like it's deeper than us being able to shoot a ball or throw a ball and slay a rhyme scheme. But it is important to the fabric of our culture, and it does connect a lot of dots in terms of the experiences, types of people, personality. Like, understand this part why rappers and ballers get along so well. This is a confidence sport. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are confidence arenas where it's like, oh no, you're supposed to walk into the booth and feel like you're the man. You're supposed to step onto the court and feel like you're the man. Like it's the manifestation of those things. So it does it's very interwoven, like within the fabric of our community, for certain.
No doubt. So fellas, Ruben just pulled up. Let me get the quick super chats and then we'll get Ruben on stage and Coop, let you do your thing, homie. I saw you, CJ Kid. I'll take care of you, bro. I got you on. Give me 1 second. I'll get you in a second with the Discord information. Jermaine Johnson said the cachet and allure of Jay Prince wore off after the messiness of the Takeoff murder. Not supposed to happen when protected by royal family of Houston. Good point. Tracy G, $5 chat. I agree, Sean. I love how Mase articulated what needed to be said to Jay Prince, and I like Jay Prince, but it needed to be said. Absolutely. So, cool. We're going to bid you adieu. We're going to come right back here and talk about your favorite artist, M, and his album. Because I know you want to talk about that, but we want to let you get into your bag with Ruben first.
Saying bid you adieu is wild. Look, hey, G, Sean treating it like we coming back from the flight from France, and I bid you.
I'm so cultural.
Sean travel a little bit, and he, get full of himself and start trying to speak other languages and stuff.
I know, he be like He'd be like, so I was just in Geneva and
Yo,
Ruben.
man, relax, man. Yo, I
Go
think you
go.
guys are do toodles.
Not Toodles. Ruben, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm good. How about yourself?
No, no, no. I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank Clarissa and Deja and everybody at Synergy for reaching out to us and reaching out to you and having you come on. You have a very interesting story in this business, in my opinion, and I think there's a lot of things that you can share with our audience. So thank you for coming on. Let me ask you something. What is your actual official title with quality control? It's I was told that I'm here in Atlanta, so it's I've been told that you're responsible for all of the DJs with two officials. So what is so what is your actual role with quality control?
Yeah, so I'm the president of Quality Controls DJs, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So I work hand in hand with two official who's like the head of marketing and everything for QC. And he does a lot of the street team promotions and different things like that.
Well, I mean, so I was going to ask you about that because you've done a lot of things in this business, including branding and marketing yourself. What was the core passion that you have that's drawn you to this business? Because you've been an author, you've been a writer, an artist, an interviewer. In a lot of ways, you podcasted before podcasting became popular. You've done a lot of branding, a lot of marketing. You just dropped a project this year that we're going to talk about shortly. What's your core passion? What drove you into this business?
I would say that's a loaded question, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, my core passion is probably just doing legendary stuff and making, more historical moments than anything. Because for me, yeah, I've been in the business for a while. Um, but I would say just like me starting out as an artist and then making a transition to the business side and being more of on the executive side, um, that kind of took a lot. But where I'm at today, doing more so management and production, I'm more in a peaceful state in my personal opinion because I don't do music in the forefront all the time anyway, or really as much anymore anyway. So I still get to produce for other people and allow that creative, flow and process to come out through them as well. So
Okay. So, well, let's stay with the artistry right quick because you did release a project this year, 5 a.m.
mhm.
on Peachtree. Tell me what the ethos of that title is. Where did that come from? For me, it's when I think of 5 a.m., I think of old Atlanta, when there was actually still stuff to do at 5 a.m. in Atlanta. Is that what that's kind of paying homage to?
I mean, on one side, yeah, but then on the other side, it's for me, I came to Atlanta because I'm originally from Brunswick, Georgia. So I moved to Atlanta in 2010 originally, and I went to college at the Art Institute of Atlanta before I dropped out. So 5 a.m. on Peachtree is about where I used to be in Little Five Points and stuff like that. And, pretty much how I used to get down off the MARTA station. And if you think about how the MARTA station is set up, the points where it drops you is kind of where the project is talking about, really. Because even with the Magic City and
Hmm.
everything, because it's right over there by that MARTA station by
Yeah,
Greyhound and
yeah. The
everything.
bus stop's almost across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know it well. well,
So
that explains some of the titles like Joseph Lowry, Moreland Avenue. It's
yeah,
kind of like a homage to the bus routes in a sense too.
yeah. hmm
Now you also I know you're from Brunswick, but you also spent some time in New York. When did you leave Atlanta and go to New York, or how has that transition gone?
So basically, I didn't really get on in Georgia. So I got
Right.
on in New York.
Right.
So I basically moved from Georgia. I moved from Atlanta and went to New York. And that's pretty much how I got a significant start in the music business for myself. I was actually working with more so like Wu-Tang Management, and that's kind of where I got my start at as an artist. So that's where I got my first situation with Island Def Jam, and even really my second situation with Sony and the Orchard and everything too. It was because of Black Mask and like I said, Wu Tang Management.
How did you get down with Wu Tang Management? Because I see Capadonna's on the album, so you obviously still have like good relationships with Wu Tang.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I linked up with Black Mask, Dark Ninja, and a couple of other individuals. RP to Black Mask, because that was really like the person who was more so instrumental as far as with my career. Because Ninjas did some weird stuff, but basically it came about for me. I was living with my uncle in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn, and I used to go to a club in Crown Heights called Legacy Lounge. So it was off of Nordstrom Avenue. I used to perform. Um, I actually did a lot of performances then. I even used to perform at the Pyramid in Manhattan. This is 50 used to have like a pretty big showcase and stuff like that. And this is when showcases was popping. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you went to a showcase and you performed and stuff like that, especially in New York, more than likely a A&R or somebody who's actually from a label was gonna be at that showcase. Even in California during that time, it was still possible for that to be a thing. So
Right.
um yeah, I just happened to, go up in there consistently perform, tapped in with them. They started rocking with me, and then it kind of became a thing. Like the rest is history at that point. And then I wind up getting a distribution situation with them. So yeah.
Okay. Well, what brought you back to Atlanta? Was it your involvement with quality control that brought you back to Atlanta? Like after all this, like how many years did you stay in New York, and like what kind of brought you back?
So I actually stayed in New York probably for half a year. Yeah, and I went to California. So I lived in California probably for maybe 2, 3 years or something. And yeah, in Southern Cali. And
What
from
part?
Southern Cali,
What part
uh
of California are you in?
in Lakewood and Long Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be in LA a lot. Used to go to Compton a lot. Lewisburger. So then from there, I came back to Georgia, um, and I was doing media at that time. So getting into media and everything, because I used to own a publication, did that. Uh, broke a lot of interviews, broke a lot of records, did a lot of promotion myself because I was learning the business side of the music industry. I didn't really get with QC until more so at the height of the pandemic, really.
Okay.
So
Were
as
they
people, go ahead.
were they familiar like with your work already? Like did they hire you for media, music, all the above?
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So Too Official was not familiar with my work at all. It was more so like it was a referral, and the referral came from Nisha. Shout out to Nisha, man. She like P sister.
Okay.
And so she referred me to Two Official, uh, did an interview with him for my platform. The interview did really well. And then, I was like, yeah, man, I want to do something with QC DJs. So I started out as just a DJ.
I mean, is the media publication you're referring to that you started, the Spaced Out magazine, right? SOM.
Yeah. So it originally was Space Time Magazine before I changed it to something originally made, which became that brand.
Okay. So you got a referral and you just essentially started out as like one of the DJs?
Yeah. Because I also had like a mix show. Like I was on air in Atlanta on 105.5 The King, which is more so broadcast on the east side of Atlanta in Conyers and so forth and so on. So I was already working in radio. I was on a couple of online stations doing mix shows and stuff like that. And then I was DJing at a couple different spots, but more so like stores and things like that. So yeah.
Well, as a DJ and somebody that's president of the DJs now, there are a lot of people in the city that feel like that there's like a lot of payola connections that go on, and that a lot of the DJs here really don't break records or break artists anymore. What's your take on that?
I mean, for real, man.
For real?
I would personally say in Atlanta, you gotta know who you actually going to as far as even getting a record broken. It's been the same people for years. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the problem people speak to is it's almost like if you're not in the pipeline with certain people, then the chances of your record getting broken and you making a name for yourself like dwindle exponentially. Do you think that that's fair? You think that's just the way that it is? Is there something that needs to happen to change that? Do you feel it needs to be changed? Do you think it's good how it is?
I think it's good. I think it's good how it is. I think you need to stay and go back to the basics to keep it a bird with you because sometimes and oftentimes we have people that move to Atlanta and to Georgia from out of town. They create platforms that are centered around Atlanta. And when they create these platforms and stuff, they try to dictate or control who's moving around Atlanta as if they have more pull in Atlanta and in Georgia than we who are actually from here do. And it should never be the case. So a lot of times when you see these artists that's coming to the city, they're tapping in with people that are from New York, from St. Louis, from Bama, Tennessee, Florida, and all these other different places. They're not even tapping in with the core DJs that are from here. And shout out to core DJs, Tony Neal and everything. But a lot of these artists are being bamboozled because they're trusting foreigners in our state, in our
Mm,
area, as opposed to tapping in with people like that are the real pioneers, like DJ Jelly or DJ Monte or DJ Funky or something like that. They don't know to go tap in with these people. And oftentimes too, a lot of artists, when you talk about payola, they are immediately thinking that they can come to Atlanta, they can find one of the radio hosts, and they can, oh, I'm gonna go try to slide him a couple dollars and get my song on the radio on his show or something like that. And then they deal with the uh the host telling them, hey, the program director not gonna approve that and
right.
and so forth and so on. So they feel like, oh, this person got me, that person got me. I mean, really, you got yourself because
Mm,
you know the proper channel or who to go through. You just really came in and you thought you was just gonna be on one of the biggest stations in Atlanta, one of the biggest urban stations in Atlanta before somebody like Rich Homie Quan song on here, or somebody like a Future song on here. Like, how does that even make sense? You get what I'm saying? So
right.
you have that happening a lot of times because there are platforms where certain stations are set to where independent artists can get their music on those stations, even if you're from out of town or whatever. And it just has to consistently be voted on when they do those type of opportunities. But when it comes down to the streets and stuff like that, if you don't know the strip clubs to go to, If you don't know the proper clubs to go to, you don't know the proper DJs to tap in with, yeah, you're gonna spin your wheel. It happens all the time.
Mm. I think that's a great answer. That's a great explanation for how things go and for how things should go. So let's talk about how your album has gone. I want to say I was impressed with the album. It came off to me 5 a.m. on Peachtree came off as like a curated piece by you. It's almost like you were in artist mode, but I felt like it was kind of like a curation piece by you of like mixing and matching artists and kind of piecing things together. I feel like you tried to like paint a portrait with this in a way that kind of felt like I could see the producer and the executive producer in you on this project in addition to the artist, because I felt like you were just using all the pieces that you had to meld together this project and make it understandable and make it cohesive. Tell me about the process of making this album and all of these notable names you have on here: Cameron, Jadakiss, Snoop Dogg, Capadonna, Benny the Butcher. Like you've got a who's who list on here, and it's an impressive album.
Yeah, appreciate that. So, basically the process behind me actually putting this project together, it was recorded at Bravo Ocean Sound Studios in Atlanta. Um, and engineered by my boy Christian Williams. Shout out to him, as well as assisted engineered by Flyboy Breeze, who's also featured on the album. Um, for me, it was more so like therapy. So you have an idea in your mind, and it's like, okay, I want to put this project out. I want to get this out of my system. So that's pretty much how that was at the time when I started working on the project. My mom's was actually getting sick before she passed. So for me finishing the project, moving forward, putting it out was just me completing something and actually staying the course with actually completing it. And so that's why one of the tracks on there is Margaret's song, which is more so a ode to her and to family in general.
So that was probably my favorite song of the project. I think one of the things that I enjoyed about your project is that when I listened to Margaret's song yesterday for the first time, I just lost my aunt, who was like a mother figure to me. And I spent half my childhood pretty much living with her and my mom. So like she really like had a hand in raising me. She wasn't like one of those aunts that like was like far away. Like no, I grew up with her. She schooled me. She taught me how to shoot a gun. She taught me how to put on cologne. You know what I'm saying? Like she was one of those figures. And Margaret was the song that resonated with me the most. And that's when I realized that you had made something on this album for everybody and for their different range of emotions that they were going through. I think that I just gravitated towards Margaret because I just lost, my mother figure, you know what I'm saying? Not my mother, but the closest, but the next thing to her,
Yeah.
and that was the song that hit me. Were you intentionally trying to connect the dots of different people's levels of emotions? Because I feel like you do have something for everybody on here, and it really came together for me when I heard the Margaret song.
Definitely, definitely was. But I think with that song specifically, it was more so like me uh dealing with my own grief, you know, and taking that grief and being able to express it and just also kind of, letting the whole entire world go, anybody who listens to it, like, hey, I understand because I lost my mom too. You know, and I think that a lot of times when we deal with grief, obviously everybody deals with grief differently, but there is a sense and an ounce of peace if you have that sense and ounce of peace for yourself, which sometimes does not always come during that time of that person passing. It may be like months later, or it may be, whenever. But essentially, um, for me, that was more so like therapy because even after my mom's passed, man, it probably took me probably about 4 or 5 months to get back in the studio.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was a lot of this project done while this was going on with your mother, or did you do most of this project after? Like what did something like that so impactful and so unfortunate, like how did that like affect the recording process? Like had you done a lot of this before?
So the production, I had did all the production before.
Okay.
So I had did all the production before, and I produced the last two tracks. One of the last tracks I produced was the one for Margaret's song while she was in the hospital right before she passed. The last actual track that I produced was the final track that I recorded, which was Upgrade You. So that was the only piece of production that was actually completed toward the end of 2023. That was it. But everything else had already been produced, already had been worked on. Um, I sat on a lot of different verses for a while. I built a lot of beats around verses and stuff. And then, like, when it came to me writing my own parts, I just had to get in the mental space. And some people ask me, they ask me about the project and stuff, but for me, I don't want people to listen to the project from the aspect of, like, thinking that, how do I say this? Like, for me, that was me warming up because I haven't rapped in years. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So somebody else asked me like, if that's you warming up, what do you sound like when you actually, like, really acclimated? But that was me warming up to be able to do that, because a lot of times when it comes to music, I'm only inspired off of production. I'm not inspired to do music as far as, like, on the artist aspect side, because I work so much on the business and the management and stuff like that. I'm not as enthusiastic about, trying to put out projects and stuff. I'm more enthusiastic about putting somebody else's project out. And that's why, me doing the production is more of a peace of mind for me.
Well, let's talk about that, because I was going to ask, like, A, do you have any projects coming up soon? And B, with you, kind of like handling a lot of the behind the scenes things from branding, marketing, the production, the management. Do you actually have any artists that you're currently managing as well that you kind of like would like to tell us about? Like, what do you have going on the business side as far as like artists that you have under the belt? I mean, I know there are artists that are under quality control, and I'm sure you have relationships with all of them.
Mhm.
I'm down here, so like I'm familiar with those artists. But like, what artists are you like managing, overseeing? What projects do you have going on? Will you bring them to Hip Hop Talks for an interview?
Um, so I'm actually the manager for OJ the Juice Man.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
so yeah. So I'm the manager for OJ the Juice Man. Currently, as far as projects that I'm working on, uh, I'm currently producing a project right now with 2700 Real out of California. He had a huge following on TikTok, and he's transitioned over to music right now. Um, I'm also the co-manager for Sukiyama. So
Okay.
yeah, so there's some stuff in the works, with that, and that's all I'm really gonna say right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to get Sugiyana and OJ the Juice Man on Hip Hop Talks when their next projects come out. Like, if
Okay.
you're down. What about you? Do you plan on doing another project anytime soon, or are you kind of like just kind of like is this just something artistically you felt like you need to get off your chest, and now you're like cool with like going back behind the scenes again, and we're not gonna get another like 5 a.m. on Peachtree again, or it's gonna be like 5-7 years before we do like on some Dr. Dre shit? Like, you tell me what's
Listen, I'm not gonna detox y'all, okay? I'm not gonna do that. But what I will say is, um, if I release another project, it may be like next year. I don't know if yeah, it'd probably be maybe like next year.
how,
I
how,
have another project, but
how many tracks did you record for 5 a.m.? Like, how many?
25,
Oh,
25, 30 records. But just the ones that you hear on the project are the ones that more so fit the project. I think the record with like YBN the Mirror, that was one of the closer to the final selections that I was doing as far as that. But yeah, I did about 35 different records. But then too, also like the artists that I manage, some of them I'm working on a couple different records with them and getting some stuff together for them too for their own personal projects that they getting ready to release and stuff. So, but again, for me, probably next year I might drop another project. Just depending on how I feel, and then just trying to see what it looked like musically, economically, and where we at in America.
Okay. Okay. So a little
Yeah.
socio-economic and political commentary. Like I don't know if you heard earlier, I did a Donald Trump like EP for him to ride out to since he's down with the team now. And I inserted like, political leaders to redo the song. So I have like Joe Biden redoing Noriega's Super Thug because he has a stutter. And I have the I Shot Your remix with Barack Obama, Gavin Newsom, Bill Clinton, Jon Stewart, and Maxine Waters. So I put together projects over here, just not at the same level you do.
Okay.
So look, Ruben, we got to slide out of here. I want to thank you for coming by. I want to tell everybody on Hip Hop Talks to support your project, 5 a.m. on Peachtree. But Ruben, before you go, and this is probably the most important question that I'm going to ask. Can you get a play into the QC ball? I've been trying to get into the QC ball for the last 2 years. Can you plug a player, please? Every time my homegirls, one of my finance homegirls is about to take me, some dude interrupts and is like, no, we're not letting Coop in. Can you get me into the QC ball, player?
Why they want to let you in, man?
It's just always been something. Like the last, like I know it got canceled this year, but the previous 2 years, it's like literally like been on the verge, and then like the day of, it's like, oh, well, that's not gonna happen or that's not gonna work. But I know, Ruben, with you on my side, I can suit and tux up and QC ball. I just want to hit a couple interviews for Hip Hop Talks, talk to the people, rub elbows with ATL's finest.
You know what I'm gonna do, man? I'm gonna send you the person who's over that for the media so you can submit to them and let them know, that you was referred by me. But that should probably get you in on the media side for sure. Definitely.
That's all I wanted. Thank you, player. Best interview ever. Shout out to Ruben Wood for coming on the Hip Hop Talks. I hope to talk to you soon, brother. And hopefully, like if we get the opportunity to talk to OJ the Juice Man or Sugihana or any artists that you'd like to bring forward to the team. I appreciate you taking time out your schedule and us sitting down and talking with us at Hip Hop Talks. We really do appreciate it.
Hey, man, appreciate you for having me too. Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime. Coop's going to the QC ball next year.
Nice.
Interview over. You like that? See, look here. I didn't send the PR team that question. Need to make sure I got it.
Politicking.
While we're here, see that's Atlanta shit. Going to like QC ball is like the new, like that's like the real source. That's how the Source Awards were supposed to be. Yeah.
I think you just got your ticket stamped, man.
Look at God. Won't he do it? Won't he will? Where's Sean at? He's still recovering from hip replacement surgery. Okay.
Yo, I'm drinking like another glass of vodka, and I shouldn't be doing this because I haven't hydrated all day.
No, you shouldn't. You don't need any more of anything for what you usually have going on.
I don't need Jack. Straight up.
No, you literally don't need Jack, as in like no Jack Daniels. You don't need Jack. You don't need Jack. You don't need Jim.
I don't need a consultant for pills or nothing like that. I just need water.
Where
shout
are
out
we at, man?
Shout out to those that do though.
AG, man, get your friend, dude.
I've never claimed him as my friend. He a work associate.
Work associate is wild.
That is wild, yo. That is wild. Yo, but cool. Great interview, bro. Great interview. I hope people understand the gravity of interviews like this.
Yeah.
Yo, dude is heavy. He's heavy.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah.
you know who he is? He's one of those people when you hear your favorite artist project and you're like, man, who helped put that together? Like, he's one of those guys where it's like,
Right.
oh no, you may not know him, but
Right.
Snoop know him, Benny know him, Cam, you know what I'm saying? Where he has the type of relationships and has the type
Right.
of resume in this game, like on multiple levels. That's why I was talking about. It's like, well, you brand, market, podcast, interview. He interviewed T-Boz from TLC once, guys. So
It says
he's
a lot.
Yeah, like his first big interview for Spaced Out magazine was T-Boz.
Yeah.
You know, so he's operated on our side. He's operated as the artist. He's operated as the producer. He's the president of the DJs. He manages artists. Like, you know, I mean, this is when you're talking about an industry maven. He's the definition of an industry maven. It's like, oh no, that guy can be your artist, your producer, your A&R, your president, your marketing team, your branding. He can get you into the QC ball, apparently. Look at God. Look at God. QC ball, here I come.
Yo, Coop get to the door. Like, man, you don't even be on this list. What are you talking about? Hey, and then you see Mike walk right by. Hey, Coop, walk right in. My bad, man.
Yo, if that happens, I will retire. If that happens,
yo, my bad.
I will retire. If that happens to me in this city, like in this city that I've walked around by myself since no.
They be playing. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. See what?
This is why you don't need Jack or Jim. This is why you don't need anything.
What's the next topic?
My bad, man.
Get your friend.
Ridiculous. He is not my friend, bro.
Look, I just wanted to see if you was gonna double down on it, AG.
Yo, if I saw Sean in the street, I don't even know if I'd dap him.
Yo, man.
Just keep walking.
Oh, that is crazy, bro. Yo, that is crazy. My bad, man. Yo, so let's get Queens Get the Money, man. Charlamagne did an interview with the legend LL Cool J, fellas. And LL had a lot to share. I thought this was a really good interview. He shared a lot of different things that I felt like need to be said. He actually also even shared the track listing for his upcoming album, which I'm excited for this album. It's a concept album. He's going slightly in a different direction. The attention to detail in the writing based on what he was sharing with Charlamagne. I'm excited for it. And I'm glad you got an OG, someone who's been in the game for how long? Like, what, 40 years? Close
40.
To 40?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And about 84 when he was 16, right?
He was 16. You know what I mean? Queens legend, hip hop legend. I mean, mogul, icon, whatever you want to call him, he's all of the above. And I'm just glad that he has, like, you can hear the excitement in his conversation, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of the artists that's coming out this year, even Common, you know, LL, all these guys have a different excitement about the music they're making. It's not like, you know, I think LL dropped the album, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. M dropped the album like 4 or 5 years ago, or something like that. All these guys,
sooner for M, further for L. I think it's been close to 10 years for L album.
Even with Common, you didn't see all of this rollout in their last album. These albums that they're putting out now, you see a lot of more energy around it, a lot of more excitement around it, right? And to hear LL talk about things that's important to him, this is a different LL that I have ever seen, and I follow LL since since I can remember, since I was a kid. You know, rhyming the lyrics to "I'm Bad" and "I Need Love" and stuff like that. And just hearing him talk in this manner was refreshing to me because he's one of those. He's one of those. He's hip hop's first superstar in hip. You know, to be quite honest. You know, he covers all the ground. So what you guys think about the interview? If you guys had a chance to see the interview.
I have. I watched it in full. You mind if I go, AG? Is that cool?
Go ahead, Coop. Yeah.
You know, the first thing that I realized is that a lot of the bravado that we talk about MCs having, like that confidence and that bravado that comes with being a rapper, we got it from him.
That's a fact.
That's the first thing that I realized. Like the modern day rock bravado, the lineage of it and the real start of it on a big level is LL Cool J. And I realized it today because it's like he's the vet of vets. Like he talks with the bravado of a rapper, and I can't think of anybody who talked that way in public before him. That's how long and at such a high level that he's been doing this. And so through the course of the interview, I really realized is that culturally speaking, he's one of our 5 to 10 most impactful figures. Like he taught us how to interview. He taught us what rap bravado looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like the rap C's with the dope boy chain and like when he's talking about paid in full, he's like, oh no, I was dressing like the street dudes I was running with dressing. That bravado, that ethos, that C's. He is the father of a lot of that shit. He is the father of calling it the GOAT. Because that's what he on 4, 3, 2, 1. That was the first time you had heard anybody use that terminology, GOAT, greatest of all time. You look.
I wish he would have trademarked that, bro. I really wish he would have trademarked that.
He would be a billionaire.
I would trademark that.
He would be a billionaire. He literally would. You look at the hit records. You look at the fact that he is the rock that they built Def Jam on.
Absolutely.
Def Jam is built on the cornerstone that is LL Cool J's solo career. He is the first solo artist on Def Jam. When you find out the dude that used to carry his radio is the fucking Public Enemy logo, for God's sake. It's like
that's crazy.
It's crazy. Like you think about the rap battles, you think about the hit records, you think about like just everything. And I was like, yeah. And you think who is top 10? Like when he was talking, I was realizing it's like, man, I can't put 10 people in front of L.
I've been saying it for weeks, saying it for months.
Crazy. Like I felt crazy for having him. I think he's like 10 on my list. It made me feel a little foolish. Like when he got done talking, I was like, damn. I was like, I got this dude at 10. I was like, I don't know, man. It's like the cultural relevance and significance. And here's what I mean when I say that. He's created so many things that are iconic in this business that nobody really accounts for or attributes to him or gives him credit for like they should.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. It's like we know it, but we don't bang the hammer for L like we should. Pause. That was terrible. That was a shame.
You caught it. You caught it, Coop. It's good.
And you said it. I wasn't going to say anything because you said it.
It was in mid swing. I had to deliver.
Damn, then you said mid swing.
You want to know? That's because I've been hanging out with you too much. I'm tired of having
double entendre pause.
No, you are corrupting mine, and quite frankly, I feel corrupted. No more pregame with you, AG. I'm not pregaming with Sean alone anymore. This has been like the 3rd straight week of it. I won't do it. I'm out.
My bad, man. My bad.
Yeah, show your ass up. I cannot take too much more.
Yeah, show your ass.
It's
crazy guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's like it's like the inception of the pauses. It's like you just passed the pause along.
It's a pause within a pause within a pause.
As I said, it's a double. It's a triple entendre.
Yo, that's crazy.
Call me ho. You know, but no, I love this interview. I loved all the talk. There's so many things that we could break down about it. The Jay-Z talk was very, very fascinating and insightful. And you got to see some of that competitive fervor that still keeps L so energetic. And makes me realize it's like, oh no, he's the first one to really have this competitive fervor like this for the sport too. So
I don't think it's anybody as competitive as L. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's nobody competitive as him.
Right. I like how he even broke down the art of war with the battle, and even was talking about not like us briefly. He's like, "Oh no, you're gonna be all right, fam. It's gonna be okay. Like it's just rap." You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
it's like when OG tells you, it's like, no, young blood, you're gonna live through this. I've been there before. You're gonna survive those shots, and your career is gonna be just fine. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was some real, true icon OG talk. It was a good interview. There were a couple of piggyback moments that I wish Charlemagne would have asked him to like dig deeper about some things, like when he talked about the experiment records versus the culturally relevant records. My first thought was like, there needs to be a follow-up question asking him, well, which ones did you feel were culturally relevant and which one were experiments? Because it's like 14 shots to the dome sounds like an experiment. Sounds like an experiment gone bad. But Mama Said Knock You Out sounds culturally relevant. I would have liked to get more of a dig on that aspect, but outside of that, phenomenal interview. And you got to love the confidence, and you got to understand who L is, that when he's talking about Jay and Sauce running up him on 96, he's like, I'm LL Cool J. Who are you guys again? You're who?
Right.
Used to run with Kane. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when Kane, like, you know, went on tour with me 10 years ago.
Right. Opened up for me. Right.
Right. Who are you again?
Right.
Queens get the money, Sean. There you go.
Queens get the money. Queens niggas run you niggas.
That's for us.
AG, what you think?
Yeah, to your point about the experimental albums, like, I mean, he delved into that a little bit, and he was just basically talking his ish, man. Like, you know, when I did those albums, it came off a classic. So, you know what I mean? I got the room to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, and LL, let's just be real, man. Like, he's really entertaining. Like, he's probably one of the best interviews out there.
Yes.
and he seems reinvigorated, but I want to, like, I just now thought about this. I was going to say that in 2024 is for the first time, it's cool for the triple OGs to be outside. You know what I mean? But I want to take it a little bit further by saying, you know, because Nas had his run with Hit Boy, and he talked about, yo, I want my counterparts. Called them up, told them they need to try this. And then, you know, people are coming out promoting their albums. They seem reinvigorated, and these are OGs. But LL does seem reinvigorated, but this is not new territory for him. This is somebody who's been in the game for 40 years, who really never left. He was doing other endeavors with acting, but dude's always been relevant. You know what I'm saying? So the class that's, you know, back in making music, the Eminems, the Commons, the Nas, of the world, they're long after L, if we're being real. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's just dope to see L, like, you know, back in the studio putting out an album that he really seems excited to make. He's making it for, you know, no pun intended, for the Passion, which is a dope, you know, single that he put out. And it's not, you know, nothing that he's doing because he owes the record label one more joint, or, you know, anybody's forcing his hand. Like, I knew that the dedication was to the art and the music when he said that he was in the lab with Dre and had almost 40 joints crafted with Dre, Dr. Dre, and said, you know what? I got to scrap these joints because Dre was giving them heat, but now I got to go back in the lab because I don't think my pen is where it needs to be. And this is one of the greatest of all time saying this.
Can I tell you something, though? That's when I realized it's like, oh, no, this is where we all get our rapper bravado from. Because that's LL Cool J saying, oh, no, I know that I'm LL Cool J, and this doesn't cut LL Cool J, Dr. Dre standards of completion. There you go. Because I'm LL Cool J.
It's not good enough.
There's still some bravado. Even in his moment of telling you that it's not good enough, there's still that rapper bravado and that confidence. It's like, it's not good enough because I'm LL Cool J.
Right. Right. And that's the love of the art, because you got him scrapping songs with Dr. Dre, and then he tells you he links with Q-Tip, gets that synergy, but he has the touch feet to pavement. You know what I'm saying? During like the COVID era with the mask, I'm on the train, I'm back in New York in the city, you know, mingling with the people. They don't know who I am. I'm doing, you know what I mean? He's taking it back to the roots, you know what I'm saying? To the gutter with it. So it was just a dope interview, man. I got big expectations for this album. And I think this is going to be one of them ones.
What if I told you that I think that this has the possibility of being a top 3 or 4 LL album?
I
At this
would
stage,
agree with you. As
Agree.
far as my expectations, I think he could do it.
well, when
I
he's
agree.
talking about the album and he's talking about the commentary, it's like, how about? I've always said this: LL isn't quote unquote a Rakim or Nas or Black Thought on the mic lyrically, but has a songwriter. You understand, in the history of this game, there have been very few people, if anybody, that can write a better song by themselves from end to end like this man.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
But
if
with that said, Coop, he's not resting on his laurels though. Because
no,
the
well,
biggest thing, yeah, the biggest thing I took away from the interview when he said, like, yo, they want, because they asked him about the meth and red situation, like, we want the youth to go back and discover your old records or whatever. He was like, give them some new stuff to listen to first. You know what I
Right.
mean? You got to adjust to the times, update the formula, and then they could go back and discover your other stuff. But don't just think that on the strength they're going to go back and recognize that you were that guy. You know what I mean? So I felt
well,
him on that.
so here's how I felt. I felt like doing the 40 tracks with Dre, the way he's breaking it down, is like his sparring sessions. You know what
I
I'm
agree
saying?
with that. Yeah.
Okay.
And now he's literally going back home to Queens, not only literally but musically, by assigning Q-Tip to produce the project. That too is Queens. So
Queens.
he went to Cali to train, but he went back home to do the project. And so the last time he was in a bag like this that I can remember in terms of his ethos sounding that way is when he made Mama Said Knock You Out.
That's fair. But I
You
mean,
know?
just listen to how crazy that sounds. Like you getting your reps in as 40 tracks that you scrapped with Dr. Dre. That's you getting your reps in.
Well, he
You
has
know
the
what I mean?
money and the cash. He has the money and the cash. Both of them have the money and the cachet to do that.
Right.
Now, I would
Mhm.
love to hear those records, though. I would
Mhm.
love to hear
Absolutely.
Dr. Dre, LL Cool J records. But I'm expecting a Mama Said Knock You Out, Mr. Smith, bigger and deafer level album, actually. Because
I'm with you.
when I'm listening to Saturday Night Special, I'm like, well, he's still crisp. He's still sharp. His flow is on point. His voice and delivery is still great. The second song, I'm like, okay, songwriting skills are still there. Q-Tip's production, it sounds like he's upgraded his formula too. Like
Yeah.
there are traces of. How about this? It sounds more Dilla than Q-Tip to me, but I
Yeah.
always consider Dilla to be a better version of Q-Tip on a beat by beat basis, not on an
Yeah.
album making basis. So if he's gonna make beats like Dilla and put together albums like Q-Tip,
Mhm.
shit,
that
we have
passion
ourselves.
song is funky, bro. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I mean.
The
We
bass
have
riff in
ourselves
that.
like we have ourselves an album of the year contender, and
Mhm.
I love that. And now I do still expect, like at some point, some of these younger guys, and by younger guys I mean some of these guys in their mid to late 30s and even early 40s, like you can't be letting like Common and LL and Nas like be winning album of the year on your ass like just happened with like the previous 2 years with Nas. Like it's not supposed to happen that way. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the way the game is supposed to go. But I do look at this kind of how I look at the Common and Pete Rock potentially. It's like, and listen to what I'm about to say. When Nas dropped King's Disease 1, I didn't think it was album of the year, but I did think it was one of the 5 best albums this year. And I wouldn't be surprised, and it would be nice to say the same thing about the LL record when it drops and the Common record right now, and see how the re-up goes. Like, as
Mhm.
in, like now that you're back in the cycle, can you do it again, please?
Yeah.
Or maybe go back and do some switch ups and get a couple of those Dre tracks. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so that's what I'm looking at it for. Even when he was talking about Rock the Bells Radio, he's like, I'm really the one that inspired the continuation of this. Like he said it so confidently and so sure of himself. I'm like, yeah, this nigga's a rapper. And then I thought about it and I was like, but he did start Rock the Bells to pay homage to legendary artists, and there have been more legendary artists actually spawning up. So for somebody of his confidence and his bravado and his contributions to the culture and how many things have already been taken from him down to monikers like GOAT, it's not a far stretch to say that he's the one that actually started this run in terms of providing the inspiration that is Rock the Bells Radio, where you
Mhm.
might cut that shit on at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and hear like KRS-One's Love Gonna Get You. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Spinning. You know, you might hear Hey Young World by Slick Rick. You know, you'll hear It Ain't Hard to Tell by Nas. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'll hear them play like Dolly My Baby with Supercat and Biggie. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and then on the business side, I like how he got his IP back on that. You know what I mean? So that was a dope story as well. So, but we're in a renaissance right now. Like after year 50 in hip hop, I do believe we're in a renaissance.
Yeah, he's one of those, man. He knows how the business works. He was the flagship of Def Jam at their inception. What doesn't he doesn't know, right? His crazy thing is, I want to go back to the Jay thing. You know, L had smoke for Jay from day one, right? And it's crazy because they're like the same age. Because what now? I say you 30, say you 33 in the karate class.
Here he goes.
20 plus years. Yeah, Jay like what, 56. So and L is 56.
No, they're the same age.
They're the same age.
I think L's 56. I think Jay's 53 or 4, somewhere in that ballpark.
He's
It's
about
close.
55. You know, Jay like his age.
I think you're right. I think he'll be 55 this December. I think he'll be 55.
And L's 56, right?
Yeah.
56.
Yeah, so they're about the same age. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's like maybe 18 months separate them.
Something like that. And so age-wise, they're peers. But if you look at the career and you look at where L started and how he's transcended hip-hop, because how we want to chop it up, L transcended hip-hop straight up.
And survived more errors because
survived more errors. Survived way more errors. You know what I'm saying? And not just survive it, but he actually thrived in those errors. To the point where
he's 10 years before Illmatic. Like he's 10 years before Nas, and Nas was here before Jay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did,
and then when L drops his album, he got one in the 2020s. Jay does not.
Right.
He's what I was about to say, he's transitioned more errors than anybody. Actually, technically, with this release, he will have officially transcended more errors.
There's nobody else who has more errors under their belt.
No, it's
not Dre on the producer front and L on the rapper front.
Think about this. L was a big rapper 4 or 5 years before Straight Outta Compton comes out, and you find out who Dr. Dre really is.
That's true.
Niggas in Cali knew who Dre was.
Yeah.
Everybody knew LL from 85 at the latest.
That's true.
85 is late for knowing who LL Cool J is. You know what
I'm saying? You're right. You're right.
Compton's 1989, so like
LL was popping when Michael Jackson was the global superstar. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This nigga was legit popular when Purple Rain and Thriller were a thing.
Right.
This is 84, 85. It's like, no, them albums still moving.
Yeah. Because Crush Groove came out in 85, right?
I think it was 85.
It was 85 because Crush Groove, that's when that was based off of Russell.
Yeah, it's about Russell's life.
Yeah. And at that time, LL was actually in that movie. He had like a cameo in a movie.
Little like short video set.
Right. And that's when he got assigned to Def Jam. So you're talking about the torch was kind of passed on to him if you really think about it. If you really think about it.
That's what I mean about the cultural impact. Think about it. His coming out moment is on Crush Groove.
Right.
He went platinum in 85.
Doesn't get no hip hop than that. Doesn't get no hip hop than that.
He battled Kool Mo D when Kool Mo D was the man.
Yeah. Right. And he was the man solo when Run DMC were the guys of the group. You know what I'm saying?
Well, how about this? When it was cool to have a group or to have a DJ, he was solo. Think about it.
Yeah.
Cool G Rap had Polo. Rakim had Eric B. KRS had Scott LaRock.
And this was still this was the Curtis Blow era too. This one music was different. Curtis Blow was like the one when Crush Groove came out.
I actually think originally, you know what I mean, my original thoughts about L, like from a historical context, is that he's actually Kool Mo D and Curtis Blow put together.
Yeah. The charisma of Curtis Blow, the superstar appeal of Curtis Blow.
Yeah, and the hit making ability, but like the fundamental hip hop tendencies of a Kool Mo D.
But aesthetically, you know, LL was everything that we envisioned a rapper to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like the Kango, like the chains, like I mean, everything.
That's what I'm saying. He's the creator of the vision. What can you say to a man that's the creator of the vision that is our hip hop ethos in terms of our bravado, our style, the way that we dress? It really does come from L.
Yeah, and what I respected in that interview, he talked about how he used to run around with the street cats, but he saw that that's not for him. You know what I mean? So, you know, he recognized his path, but he still brought a lot of that and, you know, to the aesthetic part of, you know what I'm saying, his raps.
I don't think people understood when he said, I didn't do it because then I would have to kill people. Like, he meant that on
dead ass.
No, he was dead ass.
Yeah.
But this is what I mean. He meant that on two levels.
Look who he was running with.
First of all,
what was that, cool?
I was like, what the hell just happened?
What was that, cool? Like,
I have no idea. It's my cousin John Mac's birthday. Somebody in the family chat probably like sent some balloons.
Wow.
It probably just, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
The confetti? Wow.
I don't know what's going on. It's a celebration, bitches. Like, I don't know what
Yo, I thought it was me. I thought I was tripping for a second.
I would think, man, this is the AU vodka. This thing kicking in like that. Like, AG probably like them pills kicking in like that. So let's go to the next topic, fellas. Let's go to Wayne. I just came from down the bottom. I just came from the bottom. So Wayne finally popped up, man, with the OVO chain, the owl, and everything represented. AG, I want to get you first, man, because you and I talked about this in the very, very beginning of all of the battle and all of that going on. What do you think this represents for Wayne? Do you think Wayne teeter-tottering into that territory, or think he just showing respect and showing support?
I think he's showing support for Drake, but my thing is like, bro, you mad late. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody was, you know, wondering where you was at. Like, not that, you know, somebody needed to come to Drake's aid or something like that, but no, you know what? I take that back. He should have showed up a lot earlier to show his support for Drake. I'm not going to get into the whole thing about Drake smashing his girl or whatever, because, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people disagree based on that front. But the fact that Drake was the one that went to bat the most regarding this Pusha T situation, you think Drake would have popped out, you know, a little bit sooner to, you know, say his piece on the beef with Kendrick. That's all I take away from it. But, you know, but if we're being honest, I don't want to see this go anywhere, because out of all the top tier MCs, whether you got them top 10, top 15, Wayne might be the worst as far as on the battlefront, because when he did take a shot at, you know, Pusha T on the Ghoulish joint, it was not good. It was not good. I don't think Wayne's that battle tested guy that would be hard to deal with in a verbal sparring match. I don't. I think he's one of the greatest of all time, no question. But in that foray of battling, I don't think he's even a worry.
So AG, what I would quibble back with you about is the fact that, well, we could have said that about Kendrick before this battle too. What at all before this battle either.
Well, Kendrick had a lot of sub stuff, but the Wayne thing was a direct response.
Wayne throws subs.
But I'm talking about as a direct response to somebody who has been dissing them nonstop. That was kind of lackluster for me.
I mean, what I'm saying is, if we're talking about being battle tested, Kendrick wasn't battle tested until this battle, and he won. He won fairly. I wouldn't say he won handily, but he definitely distanced himself at the end. Yeah. What I would tell you is that this would be a more. First of all, it makes me think it's like, oh no, I told y'all this wasn't done. Round 2. But not done. Like, you know, I'm of the train of thought, and maybe this is just me, but if you beat me, I'm not just gonna let you beat me. We're gonna have to fight again.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ain't no just whooping my ass.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna keep on running around the same circles and like doing the same things. You know what I'm saying? Like, Schoolboy Q got his concert canceled in Canada. Wayne's going around wearing, you know, and mumbling, you know, they don't like us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it feels like it's still got some, you know.
It's bubbling. You know, it's still, it got turned down to simmer.
Yeah. It's like, it was on high, but, you know, now they got about on 2 or 3 on the stove, you know what I'm saying? But it's still cooking.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if I heard something, but I tell you what, Wayne and Kendrick is a more fair lyrical fight.
I don't think so.
Kendrick. Of course you don't.
Yeah.
No, I mean just from I just don't. I really Coop won't like this, but I'd rather see Lupe and Kendrick, but that's just me.
Nobody wants to see that.
That's wild.
Be boring as hell. It would. It'd be boring as hell.
Oh man.
Like watch
Oh,
them
okay.
try to out art
Yeah.
each other. Don't nobody want to hear that shit.
I want to hear that. I want to get to.
Want to hear that? Don't nobody want to hear that.
Let's get to the grungy.
Yeah.
Here's what I would say, and we can move on from it. All I'm gonna say is, I said it in the beginning, when everyone, not just Kendrick, when everyone had something to say about Drake, that's when Wayne should have did something like this. He should have been on camera or went on stage and said, "I'm with OVO." He didn't have to diss anyone. He could just say, "I'm with OVO" and keep it moving. We let Wayne off the hook so many times because
we let him off the hook. Do you feel that way?
Wayne throws subliminals. He throws some jabs here and there.
Yeah.
We let him off the hook. Pusha smoked him. Pusha smoked him. Gilly smoked him. Hell, Jungle smoked him. You know what I mean? Jungle smoked him in the freestyle when he was saying some slick stuff. You know,
really, he had the most smoke for Jay when him and Jay had that little back and forth.
Yeah. Him and Jay had a little. Yeah, there was definitely some subs going at Jay.
There was some subs there, but I think those subs are more bravado than really some real action. You know what I mean? I think it was more bravado. Other stuff was more of like, I'm saying some slick stuff, just to try to get at you. And some people caught that, but we let them off the hook. Wayne has never engaged in a true battle.
Well, here's what I'm saying. It's like,
not going to.
See, but this is what I'm saying. Like, Drake has a base that is so wide that if you were to tell me that it's not a core hip hop base, I would probably have to concede that to you. Wayne doesn't have those issues. Wayne has a cultural cult core following just like Kendrick does. And actually, in a lot of ways, a bigger one and a much longer run. And he's been here much longer. And he's sold more records and done more streams unless something strange outside of this spike that's happened from this battle, and it has been a spike. And I'm not saying that to try to be like funny. I'm just saying that because it's been like a legitimate numbers spike because this is happening. That's what I'm saying is like a lot of the stuff that Kendrick just did to Drake is because it resonated with a core hip hop fan more and with his following more. No, Wayne couldn't do some of that. Like you can't do what you did to Drake to Wayne, and that's what I mean about it would be more exciting because Wayne's got the type of hardcore following like you do. Yeah. There are people. Wayne's following thinks he's the greatest MC ever, just like Kendrick's following does. Am I wrong?
No, on that front, I agree with you. And like the angles that were taken against Drake can't be taken against Wayne. That's all.
Got to tread like. Yeah,
that's all fair.
Saying Wayne is washed is wild when, like, literally, I think he's like, as far as feature runs go consistently, like in the 2020s,
he's been cooking.
Cole, it's been him and Cole as far as feature runs in the 2020s. Like,
that's true.
Like, it's literally just a Wayne and J. Cole conversation about who's been doing the best features. And you could say that in a lot of ways it's Wayne because Wayne has done diversified features that still feed his core following. You know what I'm saying? Couple Cole features haven't been like that outside of first person shooter, but Wayne pretty much since 2020 has been smoking these features. He smoked the Nas feature, he smoked all the Griselda features he did. Like he's the AZ
joint. The AZ joint was crazy.
Yeah, the Ritual with Conway. That's what I mean. All the shit with Griselda on. Oh, he's been smoking those features. Like, oh no, like
he showed up.
So I wouldn't discount it so much. I like to be entertained. So, as long as they keep it entertainment.
Before we move on, while we on the battle topic, I forgot to ask it during the last segment. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Let me get the super chats real quick. We got a few of them. I want to miss out.
Man, you letting the super chats back up? People got opinions that need to be heard.
Yeah, man. They got to get them out there. 007. Big Sean can go bar for bar with Kendrick and out rap him. I said I can't wait for the album. LL's going rhyme time on this album. Should it be interesting? Nas the vets outside. Nas got the vets outside and waiting still, and we're still waiting for Jay. Jay ain't coming. Jay not doing anything. Double O, we know that. Anthony Perkins, $5 chat. Appreciate you, bro. I seen L perform last year, top 5 in my opinion. Hey,
Dope show. He came to West Virginia, so salute to LL.
First of all, AG, you don't have to lie. You know he didn't come to West
Nah,
Virginia.
that's facts. It was wild. Yo, bro. This is no, for real. This is a true story. Bro had cats in the crowd lift a girl in a wheelchair up on the stage, and he did "I Need Love" for her. I swear to God.
Yo,
I'm not lying, bro. I was nervous. I was nervous for her. I thought they was gonna drop her. They for real lifted her up on the stage, bro.
Sean, yo, be a good moderator.
On God, bro. I'm not lying. That's a true story.
Yo, Queens get the wheelchair.
Yo,
Tracy G.
We're definitely not getting any sponsors. The chance of sponsorship, it just walked out with this whole.
Did it walk out or did it
I just watched the sponsors walk out. That's right. That's right. The sponsors aren't in wheelchairs. The woman was in a wheelchair. The hell is going on? Crazy. Next time.
Yo, being lifted on the stage in the wheelchair in West Virginia is wild, though.
You need that Professor X Hubbard joint where you can like go on the joint.
Like the Days of Future Past joint.
Yeah.
The thoughts of Sean and AG are not reflective of the core values of hip-hop.
No.
Yo, Tracy G, $5 chat. Appreciate you, Tracy. Wack 100 said, Dot won the battle, but Drake will win the war, as we're seeing the Schoolboy Q. Absolute great segue to this new segment.
Oh, let me ask something before we go to that Schoolboy segment. Real quick question. Y'all don't have to elaborate crazy, but two things. Jay and LL. Who do you got in the actual sparring battle if they were to battle on wax, and who do you got if they were to do a song versus?
That's tough. I'm not gonna lie, because I can't discount Jay, man. I can't discount Jay, bro. Jay's a monster. I'm gonna keep it a buck. If you give okay, like L said, give me a mic. How you said it? Give me some time in the mic and a pen in my hand.
Yeah.
You want to hit
give me our pen in the pad.
Plus a pen in the pad.
Give L some time. L is hungry enough to where he'll probably smoke his boots, because L probably got some stuff already on standby.
So I think there's a few different answers to this. First of all, if they're doing a versus, it's LL.
You said that pretty confidently. Do you not think it would be close?
No, because when he plays certain records, there's literally absolutely nothing.
No answer.
To do. Like you don't have an answer for Rock the Bells. You got an answer for Rock the Bells? Like, how about this? You might enjoy a record like You Don't Know. Mama Said Knock You Out's the bigger record.
Yeah, L got too many all-time classics.
Like,
yeah.
So he's not winning that. If they're battling in the street, I'm taking Jay. But if they're battling right now, I'm taking L, because L actually is like, I did 40 joints with Dr. Dre, and now I'm working with Q-Tip. It's like, so somebody been practicing.
Right.
Guess we've been practicing. And I'm always going to take the person that I know is going to work on their craft more consistently. Right. Like, that's consistent with who I am. It's why I took Drake and why this nigga owes me a white leather OVO jacket with the Hip Hop Talks patch. Next segment.
And Jay was power walking with some white guys, in suburbia. So
yo, I saw that. That was wild.
What was left of the sponsorship definitely just left. Schoolboy canceled. Schoolboy canceled show in Toronto, please. Like,
yo, Schoolboy, you get no show in Toronto, man. We don't want you there, man. We don't want you.
Sean, what happened to Queens Get the Money? Sean from up top in Toronto all of a sudden.
Yo, Toronto get the money. We don't want you, Schoolboy. Get out of here. Oh, we said beat it. Get out of here. Like you're not getting, you and Rick Ross. You're not getting no play. You're not getting no play. So Schoolboy.
Well, not Rick Ross again, man.
Real talk. This is a byproduct. This is a byproduct of what happens. I mean, this is the fallout. This is the the spoils of war. When you win in a battle and when you're in a conflict, things suffer. Resources are depleted. bodies are depleted, right? Things are happening. You're losing revenue. You're gaining revenue. It really depends on what side of the fence you're on. And be as it may, Drake still got clout in Toronto. He still got clout in Canada.
Yeah.
And we can say what we want to say. Drake right now doing some goofy stuff. You know, he's on IG and he's putting stuff on Twitter more than he's actually getting ready to respond or do anything and engage in the battle. He's trying to get Twitter hugs. You know what I mean? He's trying to get the Twitter community to give him a hug. That's what he's trying to get. He's trying to get IG and Twitter hugs right now, as opposed to going back in a lab and cooking up some heat like he did with Scorpion after the the Pusha debacle. But say it again.
I don't know if Scorpion's heat.
It's got some heat on that first disc.
There's some heat on it.
There's some heat on there, like like when
it was
when you
solid
shoot at the target, when you shoot at the target and you go 5 for 16, you might have hit the target 5 times and shown some promise, but you're still 5 for 16. So
hey, you see what I got on my shirt? Shoot or shoot. That's mellow right there.
Yeah,
He gonna put up some shots.
Facts. And the thing about it is with Schoolboy, he doesn't have that gravitas that you need to be able to overcome something like that. Because
that's true. Yeah.
If you make that call and say, nah, it ain't happening, Schoolboy Q don't have the power to come back and say, nah, I'm doing this. Period. He doesn't have that.
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, right? It's not worth it because you get there, you don't know what's going to happen. You saw what happened at Ross. He had to jog up out of there. I'm so glad, man.
Jay might have been moving faster during his power walk.
You see how he was walking? No, it was weird, man. He still had like the Basquiat dreads going on thing. It looked really weird. It looked real uncomfortable. But nah, man. Schoolboy is gonna be fine. Just not in Toronto. We're not having it. No fly zone. Go Raptors.
Why do you keep saying we, bro?
I don't know.
Look here.
They telling you not like us. Like, why you keep saying we?
No, you're not like us. I don't know.
We just
what y'all think?
Look. Somebody just told me it's because Drake actually owns the venue.
Yeah, you have it,
man.
Yeah, you have it.
So here's what happens. See. Okay, so let's talk about the art of war briefly, and then we can go.
You got to know where you're booked at, bro.
No, it's not even about knowing where you're booked at. It's like this. It's like this. No, so when you have a war, the art of war says any chance to cut off my enemy's line to get supplies, I'm gonna cut them off. It's like, oh no, you thought you was getting money in Canada? Not getting money in Canada no more, nigga, because we at war. So since y'all want to go to war, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this part of the continent off. Suggest you go to Mexico with that shit. That's really what they saying. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty much saying, I mean, this is the art of war. This is what happens. It's just like, when the Civil War went on, it's like, no, they tried to take over each other's supply lines via the railroads. That's why Sherman burned Atlanta. He didn't want to burn the city to burn the city. He wanted to burn the city because Atlanta was the main source for the Confederate Army's line of supplies. He burned all the supplies down. He starved them and smoked them and choked them out when he did that. So Drake's like, you niggas is not getting any Canada money. Like, you're not getting any Canada money. You're not coming. No. You won't be coming here. So it's not even that it's just not safe. This is not even a safety thing. This is an art of war thing. It's like, hey. Right. You got everybody over there united? Well, guess what I'm about to do over here on my side? Same thing.
Why not? I would do the same. Look.
So now it's gone from, warfare to the Cold War. This is a Cold War action.
Yeah. I'm gonna bleed you dry. I'm gonna take everything that you can try to get out of this. I'm gonna take as much as I can. If I have the ability, if my arms can reach over there and take that,
right,
I'm taking it.
Oh, that's your man's? Your man's trying to get money up here? Yeah. Not on these corners.
Because he was up next to him on that stage, so as he should have been, as he should be. You know what I mean? But that comes with a price in situations like this.
A literal price, as in you're not gonna get your prices up over here. You ain't giving you no money. I ain't giving you no money to take back. Go take back to the team that don't support me. Like, you part of their team.
But like you say, it's that cachet. Schoolboy don't got that. Now Kendrick can still go to Canada and and do his thing. But
are you sure about that?
I would say so.
Okay.
It'd be,
Let's see him try. Let's see
he
him
would
try.
have to.
I bet you it's not happening.
I'm not saying he's jumping at the chance, but I mean, I think he could.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Okay.
It'd be it'd be an interesting feat. But
With that same token, I think Drake could still do a show in Cali and be fine. You know what I mean? Because
I wouldn't do it. I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't be
trust
going
it.
to Cali right now.
Nah,
Wouldn't be going to Cali right now.
not at all.
a lot of people that will buy them Drake tickets,
Like,
it's
hold
not
on,
gonna be them.
hold on. Let me rephrase.
Casual.
I wouldn't be taking my ass to LA County right now. You feel what I'm saying?
Not
I
at
wouldn't
all.
be anywhere
Yeah, it's
towards.
hot at the moment, but I'm just saying it's not like he could never come back to going back to Cali. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
Yes.
be close to.
I'm not
Don't
going
be.
back.
Drake don't need to be around Watts, Inglewood, Compton,
No.
counties, Long Beach. Like, no, take your ass to San Francisco.
Yeah.
I won't even go to San Francisco.
You ain't touching the whole state.
I ain't touching the
Sacramento.
whole thing.
Mm.
I want to go to Sacramento. I want to go to Sacktown. I'm staying away. I'm staying as close to the east as I can.
Definitely don't go to the Bay. Don't
That's
go
what I'm
to
saying.
I mean,
Sacramento,
first of all, you have to
Sacramento,
understand
San Francisco. That's the Bay.
it's
Yeah.
dangerous for everybody to go to the Bay. Have you been to the Bay before? Oakland
Yes.
niggas don't play. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bay is dangerous in general.
I was up there for a whole month.
I'm sorry to hear that. Shit,
I was like,
did
Yeah.
I'm an OG though, so I'm good. You know what I mean? Went to the Woo store and everything.
Why you say you just said you didn't know what an OG looked like? You look yourself in the mirror every day. Don't say you're an OG because you just said you didn't know what an OG looked like.
I'm a hybrid. I'm a hybrid, man.
A hybrid.
I'm unique.
Terrible.
Yo, let's go to the next one, fellas. So I'm gonna kick this to y'all. Nas kicks off the Illmatic 30. What's all? How we feeling?
Legend.
Makes me feel old that this album is 30. I listened to this album when I was 13, 12, going on 13 years old.
Mhm.
So I realized how old I was. But, I guess this is just how my mind works. I was like, this is why the Nas and Preem album not happening this year, because it's Illmatic's 30th anniversary, which is essentially what I've been saying all year. And so do I love the fact that he's doing a summer tour? Like, this has been a wonderful celebration of hip-hop's greatest album. It really, really has. Like, I was thinking to myself, what other hip-hop album, all-time great hip-hop album other than Illmatic, really sounds great behind a live orchestra? It's like, I don't know how good the orchestra sounds playing Wu-Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck With. How does it sound when the orchestra plays Dre Day? I don't think it plays as well.
The only other two
The
classic
Shiznit?
albums I've heard behind the orchestra is Cuban Links and Reasonable Doubt with a symphony orchestra, but neither one of them sounded like Illmatic.
Right. And so you hear how different this album is, even in the celebration of it in year 30, because it's like, damn, who would have thought, 30 years ago that this album would be symphony, full band, full concert orchestra worthy and sound good while doing it.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I'm excited about, everything that he's doing this year and it kind of goes back to the LL thing. Well, it's like, we have to celebrate our legends, their legendary pieces of work. This is his most legendary and quoted and talked about and debated and argued over. Like, this is the album. And so to see him on this tour and on these different levels of operation has really been a beautiful thing. So
No doubt.
I'm happy for it. I just think that it's coming at the expense of us not getting a Nas and Preem album, quite frankly. Not this year. Because I don't see, because Illmatic 30 does deserve all of your time and attention. Like, it really does. Like, it's Illmatic. So,
well, to your point, Coop, I'm glad he's just now, I'm not going to say just now, but he's back in a space where he's fully embracing it, because it was a little window there where he was like, damn, like, can we move on beyond Illmatic? I got other great work. Like, I get it. He was quoted in interviews saying, like, ready to kind of move on from that. But now we're at a 30-year milestone anniversary, and he's full on embracing it and, doing the tours and stuff. And that's beautiful to see, because it's like, it's your baby. It's your greatest work. It's what introduced you to everyone in the rap game. And you know, it's dope to see him not, I don't want to say bitter, but just kind of like, you know, shunning that because it was held so high and it was the bar that could never be reached by anybody else or himself. So it kind of, you know, for lack of a better term, probably left a bad taste in his mouth for a little while, but he's embracing it now, and I like that.
Well, think about how far ahead of the curve he really was. He took a Curtis Blow beat break, an idea, had Lauryn Hill sing the hook with the 96 rapping version of him, and people called that selling out in 1996.
It's insane. That's
think
insane.
think about how that sounds now in 2024, that really Illmatic's legend is kind of rooted in the fact that people treated him like he crossed over and sold out.
Yeah, like Curtis Blow and Houdini is not hip hop.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's like, that's not hip hop. It's like,
it's Houdini and Curtis Blow.
It's Curtis Blow
Right.
redone by Nas with Lauryn Hill singing the hook. It actually doesn't get any more hip hop than that.
Right. Right.
But
Curtis Blow is the beginning of hip hop.
But but the legend in Illmatic grew because a core base looked at it like, this nigga left us. And so it's like you got left with that album. And really, it's like you don't get to have it both ways, because if it was getting celebrated in 96 and 97 and 98 the way that it is now, Illmatic wouldn't be as large. You understand that?
Yo, I never thought about that, Coop. That's a crazy point.
Yeah.
But you're right, though.
If it was written, get proper credit, Illmatic's not as big as Illmatic is.
Nah, you're right. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So everything happens for a reason. So his greatest gift at that time's his curse, but now a gift, because now when you look at the way it was written, is notarized, and then you go back to Illmatic, you're like, damn, did this guy make 2 of like the 20 best rap albums of all time, like back to back? It's like, yeah, but at the time it was like, this sellout ass nigga.
Well, I mean, time heals all wounds. It's like an antidote. You know what I'm saying? So when you can look at things retrospectively, you know what I mean? It changes a lot. So
yeah,
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Shout out to the GOAT once again.
So let's keep it there, because we also just celebrated the 12th anniversary of Life is Good album. Came out July 13th. And this, to me, this is one of, I felt this album was like one of the best albums that he had in his catalog. And even with that being said, this album might be in the middle of the catalog of great albums that he actually made, in my opinion. Life is Good, to me, is a stellar album. I've always thought that it didn't get the love it should have gotten, just based on, over time. I think it aged very well. Songs, it's to me, it's shy of a classic. It's shy of a classic. I would not be mad if somebody calls it a classic, though. So, what do you guys think about Life is Good 12th anniversary?
Let's put a number on it. You said you think it's in the middle of his catalog of great albums. Like, where would it fall, for each of us individually? Top 10, top 5? If you can say a specific number, listing it out, where would it fall for you? I'll go first because I already know. Like, for me, I would have it. Coop, I know I've heard you say this before. You don't count the bonus tracks, but the deluxe edition is near and dear to my heart. If I'm going by the deluxe edition of Life is Good, I got it 9th in his catalog.
Okay.
And if I'm going by the regular edition, no, I'm sorry, deluxe edition, I'd probably have 8th. Regular edition, I'd have 9th. It would be like that. And just for clarity, this is what I got in front of it. Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, KD3, Lost Tapes, Magic 3, Magic, Godson, and then I hit Life is Good.
I can live with that.
I'm gonna defer and I'm gonna push back a little bit. The first thing that I want to say about this album is that when rap gets its adult contemporary hip hop category one day soon, well, this is the album that started all of that. this was the first contemporary hip hop adult album that I heard where it's like, no, the guy that used to run the streets and do all the street talks is a grown ass man now and has transitioned from talking about all the childhood and all the young 20 street things to actual adult conversations where he talks on the intro about him not being the most faithful husband, dedicating a song to his daughter, when he's talking about what he aspires out of a loving relationship on Cherry Wine, when he talks about his haters so disrespectfully and so eloquently on Stay. You know?
Love
so
Stay.
I think, yeah, Stay's one of my favorite Nas records. So I think it's, Stay and Cherry Wine were my favorites from the album.
Love those songs.
Love those records. Those are beautiful records. But this was the introduction of the hip hop adult contemporary rap album, in my estimation, and a damn good album. It has held up remarkably well. I think it
hits different if you divorce. If you divorce, hey yo, this is my soundtrack when I got divorced.
You're divorced.
Look,
You're divorced.
even if you're not divorced, and if you have any turbulence, don't listen to this.
He said, "Don't listen to it."
If you got any turbulence, don't listen to this one. Straight up.
We can always count on you, Sean.
You got to put it on pause. You got to relax off it, man. If you got any turbulence,
it's coming from a real place, man. It's coming from a real place.
It's coming from a real place.
It's a real place.
Yeah, I was telling Trife, shout out to Trife in the chat, like, Streets Disciple is low on my list. It's in this bottom like 3 or 4 or whatever. But around those times, I got married the same year Streets Disciple came out. So those songs kind of resonated with me, you know what I mean, when he was in that bag. But, fast forward some years later, that dropped down. And when Life is Good came out, I elevated that album because when I was divorced, I was like, yo, this is my soundtrack right here. You know what I mean? So it's where art imitates life and you can relate to that stuff. And once again, to that point, when your favorite artist grows with you and goes through the same type of trials and tribulations you do, it hits a little bit different.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, think about this. Nobody had ever really dedicated a song to their relationship with their daughter until now. No rapper had really talked about divorce and relationships and relationally what went wrong. It's Hear My Dear by Marvin Gaye for
I was about to say that.
He said that was his inspiration for that album. Yeah.
It's the Hear My Dear of rap albums, but here's what I'll tell you. Oh no, it's better than Hear My Dear, because unlike Marvin Gaye's Hear My Dear, which had some great stuff on there, his best stuff isn't on there. No, there's some classic Nas stuff on this album.
Mm-hmm.
So I would tell you that Illmatic, It Was Written, Stillmatic, Lost Tapes, Magic, and KD3. But I'd have to probably put it at 7 after those. I don't think Godson is better. I think Godson has Made You Look and Last Real Nigga Alive and Get Down. And after that, it would be Life is Good for me.
I think as much as Life is Good as a personal reflective album and is about his marriage and a lot of other topics, I think Godson is a little bit more introspective for me.
I think, you know what? No. Like Godson is like, after the king's been out to war for the last 2-3 years, and he finally gets to come home and sit on his throne because he claimed victory.
Yeah,
it's like,
and he's reflecting on the
king coming home. No, and I get that, but usually a king's greatest moment isn't when he comes home; it's when he won the war. That's why I hold Stillmatic and Lost Tapes so high, and I think the Godson gets hurt with the fact that Stillmatic and Lost Tapes are clearly better albums.
But that was my caveat with the bonus tracks. I would probably put it over Godson, but with the regular edition, I got it behind Godson. So that's it.
I have behind Godson, just about one base.
I can't.
KD2 is in that realm too. KD2 somewhere around there.
KD2 and Life is Good are neck and neck for me. I can't put Magic. Like I've said this many times about Magic 3. I think Magic 3 is going to be his album. Other than It Was Written, that over time is going to continue to grow and grow. But I'm not going to put Magic 3 ahead of Life is Good yet. So I'll tell you comfortably 7 in the catalog.
No doubt.
That's right.
Let me get the chat real quick. Michael Williams, appreciate you, bro. $5 super chat. Nas, my real name, stage name, same thing. How could you let these lames claim king? I'm so ashamed, man. LIG Deluxe is amazing. Stay in trust. Trust, like, man.
No, I get what you're saying. Isn't that the one? Hold on, isn't that Black Bond on there too?
Yes.
Yeah, Black Bond is the bonus, I believe. I think
Black Bond is wild.
Yeah.
That bond, yeah.
Roses is another bonus.
Another one.
And
when State comes on, State just does something to me. When State comes on,
is it Nasty or the Don? One of them is a bonus as well.
Nasty's the bonus. The Don
Nasty.
is direct 10 yeah.
Matter of fact, the Don is like the only one off that album he really does live regularly.
Right.
Yo, okay, so I've seen him. I actually got to see him perform a lot of these records live when he came to Atlanta the year Life is Good came out. I actually went to Rain and seen him. That was when Jungle tried to holler at my ex-wife and I almost had to kill Jungle. But Jungle was out that night. I don't care if your brother's my favorite rapper.
That is wild. That sounds like some Jungle would do.
I knew the promoter, and so she was on stage, like she was literally sitting on the stage, and like Jungle was like grabbing her, and like he was about to be, it's about to be a problem. Kenny Smith was there. There's a whole bunch of other dudes there. Queens niggas.
Yeah, Queens get the vibes.
Like, no, nigga. I don't care if it's Queens get the money. Queens in Atlanta that night, it's like, I don't give a shit.
Queens get the ladies.
Yeah, tried. Yeah. But a wonderful project.
Yo, shout out to Safe for the super chat on superhero status and dedicated Nas top 20. Deuce Falco, $20 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. LIG is it's there, man. Like you got songs like Trust. To me, Trust resonated with me because I was going through a wild situation with my best friend. Like I look at it as a homie, like it's like a brother. And when Trust came out, it was like the moment when I knew it's time to end the friendship. Like Trust was like the song. I remember listening to it the first time, and I was like, yeah, he can't be my friend anymore. Like you do something that you can't come back from. And that was it. And Trust was that song to help me bridge that thought process. So that resonates with me.
I love that record. I remember, and a lot of people still don't know about that because it's an Apple exclusive. That's the only place, unless you find it on YouTube. But I remember when Life is Good dropped, me and my homie was riding around in the whip, just listening to it. And Trust came on and he was zoning out and he thought the album was done. And he had thought I put on some like unreleased, like, Nas, he was like, yo, is this like, you know what I'm saying, some like lost tapes type shit? And I was like, nah, this is, a bonus track on the album. He was like, this sounds like I Am era Nas. He was like, this sounds like 99 Nas right here. You know what I mean? And I was like, Trust is one of them ones.
Was he saying that like it was a compliment?
I knew you was gonna hate Coop. But yeah, that's Boy
like
One.
Nas?
Yo, we got
the Nas we go to.
We got Toronto. We got Toronto on Life is Good since we was talking about Toronto. Boy Wonder produced Trust, and then 40, which 40 doesn't produce much outside of Drake. 40 is who produced Bob Baby on that record with the Aaron Hall sample. So
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have one more from Nas. Untitled 16th year anniversary was July 15th.
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of goes against I Take Summer's All Because I Love Winter Beef. He had a lot of albums that came out in the summer. Illmatic, it was written. Illmatic came in April. It was written. It was in June.
He has like 25 albums, bro. So I mean, some of them gonna fall in the summer.
Summer's All Because I Love Winter Beef. Nah, nigga, you love beef for every season.
He's our most battle tested MC.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's our most battle tested MC. He survived Tupac, Big, Jay, Cam,
50, Cam.
Yeah.
Jim Jones.
Somebody gonna survive those 5 people.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about the intro, Sean? How'd you feel about the intro? Queens Get the Money.
Still to this day, my anthem.
Hey, you know, that's Jay Electronica that did that beat, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's Aries, man. I love that record.
Would have been nice had he rapped on it, but whatever.
He's not from Queens. He's not from Queens.
Like he did a song with Griselda where he was shouting out the homie that was locked up for Griselda. He's not from Buffalo either.
We don't need him money though. I love that.
Money. Queens Get the Money is tough.
That was my.
I love it.
They 50 point niggas at the same time. That's the NASDAQ. Y'all gonna borrow home as Dow Jones.
80 cal chrome.
Need a time alone.
Load the zone.
You want to know what the problem with Queens Get the Money? Goes downhill after that. This album's not that good.
Don't do that, cool.
Album
Because you know what?
The production, no. The spitting, yes.
No, I can't agree with y'all no more on that.
He's spitting on there, but the production. Oh,
The production-
yo, let me say this since we're on YouTube, because I put this
Song's not that good.
another conversation I was having with Trife in Discord. Let me ask y'all this, and y'all think if it holds
Song's
weight.
not that good.
The Chris Brown joint, a lot of people's like, what the hell is this doing on this album? Right?
What, We Make the World Go Round?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
one of the better songs on there with The Game.
But I have a theory, right? Because it doesn't fit the tone of the album. But I think Def Jam needed a single, and he got Game on there. If you remember, LAX came out around the same time, and it had Letter to a King on that album. Now, my theory is that they did a swap for a swap feature, and Letter to the King was supposed to be on Untitled. This is just my theory, because it fits the theme better. But Def Jam probably wanted the We Make the World Go Round so they could have another viable single after Hero, and then the other one ended up on Game's record. That's been my theory all these years.
I love that theory, AG. That sounds more appropriate. This album could have used Letter to the King because there's only about 4 or 5 good records on here. Queens Get the Money.
Come on,
Breathe. Fried Chicken with Busta Rhymes.
That's not why I had the theory, but you could, Coop.
Definitely, this album needed help. Like, even for somebody as great as he is, even for somebody as conceptually inclined as he is, it was too much.
Well, I tell you what, Untitled walked so the Pimp a Butterfly could run. I'm going to tell you that.
Untitled walked so the Pimp a Butterfly could run. I don't believe you have me taking up for Kendrick.
I like that.
Untitled is not into Pimp a Butterfly's realm.
Nah, but the world wasn't ready for it at that time, Coop.
It wasn't. Thank you. Hold up.
Neither were the producers who gave him those beats, apparently.
Hold tight. Let me get a super check. That's a great point. Michael Williams said, it's rare. I listened to a ninja who never been in my position. The caterpillar can't relate to what an eagle envisioned. I love that. I use that so many different times in different meetings. I'm using kind of quotes in meetings. 017 out of chat said, Illmatic, It Was Written, KD3, Lost Tapes, Stillmatic, Magic 3, Godson, Life Is Good, KD2, Crazy Life Is Good is just in the top 10 of a catalog, and it would be a crown jewel in the other rappers' catalog. Big, major facts.
That's facts. And it inspired 444, man. Let's call it what it is.
Absolutely.
It's the start of adult contemporary hip hop, in my opinion. Like, we can go listen to Common and Pete Rock's album and say, like, no, this is from the Life Is Good, like, branch of making hip hop.
Absolutely.
Yep. But back to the other point, you don't agree, Coop, that if Untitled doesn't come out, that To Pimp a Butterfly wouldn't be able to get the type of fanfare that it did. You know what I mean?
I feel when I listen to Pimp a Butterfly, because of the execution, I actually go closer to It Takes a Nation of Millions because of the conceptual execution and quality of the records.
That's too far back.
Not for Kendrick. No, it's never like that. That's the thing about rap in this culture, in this climate, in this history. I get what you're saying about going too far back, but when I'm talking about as far as a comparative analysis of it, that's where I would go, because I do find To Pimp a Butterfly to be a superior product to Untitled. Because no, I didn't mean that. I meant for it to the subject matter to not be taboo and to be welcomed by the masses. When Nas did it, it was more so taboo to kind of put out a record like that. You know what I'm saying? He tried to call the album nigger. So when you do stuff like that.
And to that point, the mixtape was better than the album. The mixtape was fire.
It was fire.
BJ Green Lantern mixtape.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like this. The mixtape was fire. I somewhat disagree with both you guys' points, and here's why I say that. I think that the aesthetics of 2008 was not prepared for an album like this, or was not set properly for an album like this. Because in 2008, we were in the Wayne era. And if you go back and you think about it, Wayne dropped Carter 3 close to the time of this release as well. And not only that, we also had Plies, you had Jeezy, you had all the South wave was like in its height at this time.
This was the Trap or Die era.
It was Trap or Die era. And we were so used to the sonics of the Trap or Die era. That's why Nas when it got Polo the Don for the Hero joint, which I thought Hero was a dope record.
I like Hero.
I remember
like
when they first
Both.
played it at the Hulk premiere, the Incredible
Oh,
Hulk
nice.
movie premiere.
Song is
And
not good. The nerve of you two. Song
that
is
song
not good.
was
I like
phenomenal.
it.
Song's
Cool.
not good.
That song was phenomenal.
No,
Even
it's
when you go back and you listen to a
No.
song like
not any
you
good.
listen to
Shout out to Carrie Hilson, by the way.
Shout out to Carrie Hilson.
Not for that record.
Yo, it's
For other reasons.
yeah.
Damn right. Better be for other reasons, not for that
Yeah.
song.
We need to have a discussion about her one day because she probably did. She should be unsung. She should be R&B unsung because she had everything around her to do big things. But we need to have a conversation. That's a different
I
conversation.
just know there's some blackballing that's been going on with her. Pause.
Absolutely.
That's not pause worthy.
That's broken. Pause
For what I was thinking, for what I was thinking in my head, yeah, it was.
Yo, but I digress. Slave and the Master to me is
Great song.
probably one of the best songs in my opinion that came out that year. Just from an overall feel, because again, it's left. He went left. He went left. Everything.
I feel like the beat not good though.
The beat is phenomenal. Cool.
I don't know about that, Sean.
The beat fits the song.
Oh, you talk about the Slave and the Master joint? Yeah.
Yes.
The only one I don't like is We're Not Alone. I don't really like that, but Nas is in his UFO conspiracy bag on that.
But I wasn't big on it. I'm just talking about the highlights of the album. I'm talking about Slave and the Master, where
Had some highlights.
He went crazy on it.
Do you know why BNA 2 wasn't on the album? He had a video for that and all that. Do you know why it didn't make a cut?
What's that?
I'm asking the video for BN 2, that didn't make the album.
Some of those songs just wasn't going to make it because a lot of them joints were too controversial. Again, we went left field on this album.
My man took the Dr. Pepper jingle and he went crazy with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you know what my joint was on there?
What?
Y'all My Niggas.
Yeah, that was a great song.
Yeah, it was a great song.
Sly Fox is my favorite.
I didn't like Sly Fox.
Come on, bro.
No.
What? Come on, bro.
You
watch Fox News, don't you, Coop?
What? We know when it comes to rhyming and conceptualization, we know what we're getting. That doesn't make it complete. And this album just it's untitled. It should be called Incomplete because that's how the album.
Wow. Testify was hard, bro.
Testify was
Testify is solid, but it's not great. Like, how about this? If this album is so dope, name me one song on this album that's even in his top 30. Name one.
And none of them in his top 30.
Because you're talking about him. You're talking about him.
It might not even be in the top. There's not even a top 59 song on here. Queens Get the Money.
I think it's top 50.
It's not top 50.
I will say
Queens Get the Money would be the only thing to have a chance to sneak in the top 50.
Queens Get the Money is one of those.
So when I say that after Queens Get the Money, the album start going.
I mean, but
that's what I'm talking about.
Everything it was up against, though. I'm not making excuses for it because was it his top 10 album or top?
No, absolutely not.
But is it
in the bottom 5 of his catalog? Bottom 5 of his catalog? It's in the bottom 5 of his catalog.
Do you like it better than Hip Hop Is Dead?
I mean,
no.
Because Hustlers, Can't Forget About You, Black Republican to me are better than everything.
It's just in the bottom 5. I got Lost Tapes 2, Nasir, Streets Disciple, Nostradamus, and then Untitled would be the fifth.
I think Streets Disciple and Nostradamus might be better than Untitled.
I think so too. I respect
that.
I got them higher, but not by much. Because again, I'm not saying this is a great.
Nas's bottom 5 would be a lot of people's top 5. Let's just keep it real.
Bingo, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is a.
He competing with himself,
There we go. I don't want to see the guy that go 35, 8-8 go 26 and 6. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. No.
Trust me, I get it. But I think that the musical aesthetics during this time really doesn't do this album any justice. Honestly, we were in an era of a different soundscape.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Even on projects like Nostradamus, I'd be like, and this is just how I judge things sometimes when it comes to albums that have aged. It's like, oh no, someday I get up and it's like, no, I want to hear Last Words. I want to hear Shoot 'Em Up. I want to hear Come and Get Me. There's no records on Untitled like that. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I want to hear Streets Disciple off the Streets Disciple album.
Beast theme and stuff. Yeah.
Beast theme.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 1000%.
Bounce for Busta Rhymes is crazy.
I get it. I listened to Untitled this morning on my flight.
I'm sorry.
I listened to it twice.
I'm sorry. Did you go?
Queens Get the Money is the only one that evokes the feeling that you're talking about, Coop. I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So if only
Get
one
the money, fried
chicken.
chicken.
That feeling,
Now, fried chicken, yes, fried chicken. That too. You know what I'm saying? I would.
Objectively, how about this? Objectively, I felt like the problem with the album was that the way he conceptually delivered on Fried Chicken and made it entertaining and how good the beat is what the rest of the album ideally should have sounded like as far as the conceptual execution, concept, lyrics, and beat. There wasn't enough Fried Chicken on the album.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So again, shout out to the GOAT, son, Nasir bin Aludora. The best. That's best. Let's go to, let's keep it in Queens, man. Queens Get the Money. Havoc is cooking some joints right now with Mega, and he also announced a new Mobb Deep album coming. Shout out to Mega, man. Shout out to Corey, man.
Let me ask y'all something. What are you more excited for, Cormega and Havoc or Mobb Deep project?
That's tough, bro.
Can I tell you what my thoughts are?
Please.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for the Cormega album because I don't know what Prodigy verses we're getting. I'm going to keep on saying.
That worries me.
Posthumous albums are so tricky to put together, man. Like I mean, what do y'all think is the best posthumous album, like just off the top of your head, that was put together from, I'm gonna say the Gangstar joint with the Guru verses that they did recently. I forget the name of it.
I'm gonna say none of them, but Big L's The Big Picture is what comes to mind.
Ooh, I forgot about that. But yeah, but I would say that's. But he had made a lot of that before he passed, though.
Thank you. And so, if you're telling me the Mobb Deep project has stuff that was supposed to make murder music, but didn't, like Feel My Gap Blow, y'all familiar with Feel My Gap Blow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if this is a Mobb Deep project that's pulling those records out, advantage Mobb because that's classic Mobb. But give me the guy who's here that actually just made a great album a couple of years ago. Like that Cormega album was great.
Well, if nothing else, I trust the production because if him and Alchemist are cooking around the vocals, the production will be dope. But you said, which Prodigy are we getting?
Right. You know what it actually made me ask? It made me think, where do you all have Havoc all time as a producer?
Top 10.
Definitely top
10. Towards 10. Or top 10.
I got him like maybe that seven mark.
Let me ask y'all this, because for me personally, when I'm ranking, I think of some guys as like beat makers, others as producers. And for me, my top 10 producer list, you got to be able to be at the helm and craft like a whole project. Like Just Blaze is one of my like favorite beat makers, but he's never been at the helm that I mean, probably the Saigon joint, maybe. But as far as like crafting a whole classic project from front to back, I can't really put him in that list of guys. So Havoc, that's the buy-in for me and my list. With that said, I think Havoc is floating around like 9-ish off the top of my head.
I'm closer to UAG. Like just off the top of my head, I would have to give Preem, RZA, Dre, Kanye, Q-Tip the advantage. Because Q-Tip's the one who taught Havoc how to program drums.
Correct.
So I do give Q-Tip some credit for being the behind-the-scenes influence and the musical influence on the Infamous. I think that doesn't get stated enough. And so and then you got to go to somebody like a Marley Marl, I think.
You got Dilla and Pete out there still.
Okay, so here's why I have Havoc ahead of Dilla, though, because it goes back to what you say about crafting a classic. Havoc has way more classic albums that he produced than Dilla does.
That's fair. That's fair.
Dilla's a better beat maker, but it's not like he's that much better of a beat maker in it. Havoc definitely has him in spades when it comes to the actual executive production of executing a full album. And so,
and here's real quick, Coop. I think Havoc has Timbaland on the hip hop front. Timbaland I like more for R&B classics and stuff, but do you have Havoc over Pharrell? Because the Clips them put out classic work. You know what I'm saying? But Pharrell versus the Neptunes as a collective is two totally different things.
I love Pharrell and I love the Neptunes, and you know how I feel about Hell Hath No Fury.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the infamous or Hell on Earth, though.
No.
Yeah. So
it's like the murder music.
No,
right,
no, I think I
agree.
I think that Murder Music and Hell Hath No Fury are good comps, but that would be Mobb Deep's third best album versus the Clips' best album. And that is where I would tell you the difference of why I would have Havoc ahead of even the Neptunes, because I think Hell Hath No Fury is their best hip-hop production performance, which would put it third.
Yeah.
How about this? What's better, the beats on Hell Hath No Fury or the beats on Hell on Earth?
Hell on Earth easily.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's all fair. So I would have Havoc is anywhere between 7 or 9. I think that's fair for him.
Yeah, that'd be fair. I think DJ Paul don't get enough love, but I think Havoc has him beat on classic albums too.
Yeah, he got Thomas joints out there.
Shout out Thomas, all time hip hop,
all time.
You know.
I mean, he made Shook Ones and Quiet Storm. That's hard for anybody not named RZA, Preem, or Dre or Kanye to beat. Just so we're clear,
those are damn near automatic wins. Those are damn near automatic wins.
Those are automatic wins. And then you got to give up the goods. I mean, Q-Tip did give up the goods, but you got Survival of the Fittest, Eye for Eye, Still Shining, POD,
It's Mine,
Hell on Earth, It's Mine,
Nighttime Vultures.
It's crazy. Extortion with Meth, Drop a Gem on them.
Yeah, banger after banger, man. Shout out to Havoc, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm nervous, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Set up.
More excited about the mega joint though at this moment.
No doubt. Shout out to Queens, man. We made it back, the back nine, fellas, closer to the finish line. Big Sean freestyle. We're not going to stay too long on this, but Big Sean did have a freestyle. His album allegedly got leaked. I don't think it's an incomplete album, but Big Sean's back in the lab. He's about to come out again. Big Sean has never, in my opinion, never disappointed with the lyrics, but for some reason he's not spoke of high enough in that pantheon of the rappers. You know, we never say Big Sean should be part of that big three because he's on the outside looking in for whatever reason that may be. But I think there's a valid argument, and we may have to set up one day to have that conversation about where Big Sean stands amongst that big three.
I think for his era, he's gonna kind of go down as a Patrick Ewing type of figure.
That's good.
Like Patrick Ewing is an all-time great center, and he's one of the best centers of all time, and he's one of the best centers of the era. But here's the thing. First of all, we could have definitely found a better picture of Big Sean.
He looked crazy in that picture. That's what he put on IG.
It looked like he had been in some sort of like cultish camp for 3 months.
Like he just took a pill or something.
Like it looked like some woman named Gemma that lives in a cave just made those.
That's crazy cool.
Yeah, that's wild. But Sean, we just gotta call it what it is. It's the it factor, right? I mean, I think that's why
here's what I mean when I'm saying it's an it factor. I'm realizing when I hear him snap and spaz like this, oh no, he has it factor. He's just not Akeem Olajuwon or David Robinson,
right?
Or Shaquille O'Neal.
And there's nothing wrong with that. He's great in his own right. Yeah,
right. He's great, and he can play with the greats. Like he can get on Mercy with Kanye and Pusha T and 2 Chainz while they're all in their prime and hold his own. He can be on Control with Jay Electronica and Kendrick and hold his own.
Detroit versus everybody with Eminem. That was our bar seminar. You know?
Right. Like even just now on Toby, he snapped on Toby.
Snapped on Toby.
The joint that leaked out, or the joint with him and Esco, man, like he, right there with Esco, they got great chemistry.
See, but this is what I'm saying. It's like the Patrick Ewing thing. It's like we always knew Patrick Ewing could play with those guys, but where do you rank him for the era? He's probably like, think about the players from Patrick Ewing's era. It's like, well, let's just go to the centers. Hakeem and David Robinson and Shaq are ahead, right?
Yep.
Mike is ahead. Charles Barkley is ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Karl Malone ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's so he's seventh right there without us going any further than that. You get what I'm saying? And that's kind of what Big Sean's fate is. It's like, oh no, it's not that you're not super nice. It's like, well, there's Drake and there's Cole and there's Kendrick, there's ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You think ASAP's better? Who you got, ASAP or Big Sean?
I got Big Sean.
Big Sean. And shout out to Tripe again, man. He said in the chat the other day, Wale-itis, you know, and I thought that was hilarious. But I think it's a big gap between, you know, Big Sean's talent. And let me not do that. I just think Big Sean's a lot better than Wale. You know what I'm saying? Personally,
I got Sean over Wale, but that was a conversation once upon a time.
at one time it was, but I think it's clear now. Like I don't even think it's a discussion that Big Sean is significantly better than Wale.
And so what it really is that, oh well, he's top 10 for his era. Just like Patrick Ewing is top 10 for his era, it's just probably on the back end of the top 10. Because even I think I put John Stockton ahead of Patrick Ewing.
Well, remember when everybody was having the Mount Rushmore conversations, like who's on the fourth? You got your big three before.
Future.
Yeah, I remember people said Future. People were saying Nicki. You know, as far as like just what they've done for the culture. But as far as just talent level, for me, it was always Big Sean was the fourth on that list.
Always Big Sean. If you think about that tyranny,
not over Future. Maybe I'm being ATL biased. No, I can't. No, not over Future.
I'm not mad at the Future take, but I'm just saying my pick, my buy-in was for Big Sean.
I'm not mad at the Future take. I think influence-wise, definitely Future.
Oh, absolutely Future. Yeah.
Not even close. Yeah. But I think when you're talking about, when you get down to nitty-gritty, you're talking about bar for bar, he's not touching Sean. He's not touching
No, I'm not saying that, but overall as an artist, I would put him ahead, which means so Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Future. So at best, he's fifth. Like at best.
I struggle with that, bro. I'm ain't gonna lie, I struggle with that one.
Future's got too much for Sean. Like I get what you're saying on some rap shit, but Future's records, like think about this. You know what came on the day that I hadn't heard in forever? Ace Hood's My Bugatti. And I thought to myself, man, this dude Future in his prime. Hook, songs, guest appearances. No, like Sean got him beat on the bars, but that's about it. Like Sean don't have a March Madness.
He don't.
Hell, man, I got 2 Chainz ahead of Future in their proms.
2 Chainz was somebody to deal with, man. 2 Chainz.
I like Chainz more than Future, and I personally would have Chainz ahead of Future, but objectively speaking, no.
Yeah.
I know you was mad when Ross faded Chainz though, Sean, on the verses.
I wasn't, because remember I told you I was a Ross fan.
No, you don't want to.
I was a Ross fan until this goofy stuff started happening.
Look here,
that was a bad matchup though.
It wasn't.
I agree.
Like that needed to be a T.I., Jeezy, Wayne.
Exactly.
Like I think like never. Like Ross's catalog, as far as the quality of the songs, is pretty high. I would have liked to watch him and Wayne.
Yeah. Chainz might be, I'm not gonna say my favorite, but he's one of my top feature artists ever.
Yes, for me, yeah. In his run was phenomenal. Straight up. Yeah. He was killing everybody on everything.
Yeah.
Straight up.
When he said "Coupe the color of mayonnaise," I was just like, like I'm in.
But he's nobody's drunk like that at the same time. Like, yo, he was taking girl kidnapper until my mattress.
Full of these broke ass rappers. But to that point, look at who Sean was rapping with, man. Sean done rap with everybody, bro. Like
that's what
he'd rap with Kanye, Jay, Chainz, like
that's what
Eminem.
So we're clear. He's. You know who he is? He's one of those guys. It's like, oh no, he's elite. It's just like he's really not going to make the first team. And he made the first team. He made the first team like once or twice, but still like Hall of Fame type of career. It's just like his all rap team selections are mostly second and third team selections.
But he gave all the first teamers buckets, is what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. I mean, look here. I was having a conversation with a couple brothers about Joe Johnson. Okay, Joe Johnson on a one-on-one level.
Yes.
Niggas work
and still doing it to this day.
Right, But the best he ever really did was All NBA third team. But could he go bust anybody for 30 on any given night and put him in the little ISO Joe, put him in the post, hit him with that little wiggle and pull up on him because he was 6'8"? Yeah, he did a lot of that. There's some of KD's mid range game that's kind of Joe Johnson-esque, just at a better shooter with a longer frame. So
that's actually a good comparison, Coop.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Joe never got the love he deserved.
Oh, his mid-range game is deadly. If he stays on the Phoenix Suns, they win the championship because he was the third or fourth best player on that team. If he stays, think about this: how many players have been good enough? He was the fourth best player on that team. He ended up being an All NBA starter and star of like his own team. He was the fourth best player on that team when he played.
Yeah, Nash, Marion. Yeah.
Yep, they would have won a championship had they kept Joe. So Joe was nice.
Facts. 007 super chat. Big Sean bar for bar is better than Kendrick and Cole. He just don't have the catalog, and he had the fabulous approach to the game. I agree. I think he can stand toe to toe,
bar for bar,
damn near anyone. I think he can. Toe for toe, bar for bar. He can stand.
And here's something people don't talk about: his joint with his EP or whatever with Janae Aiko. That joint, I'll take that over Everything Is Love with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like that joint was I love that album.
That's not saying much, and I actually enjoy Janae's music more.
But I'm just saying, any mashup, the male and female collab albums and stuff like that. That joint was hard.
Okay.
But I love me some Janae Aiko though. So
Trip is one of my favorite R&B albums of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Like top 5, maybe top 3.
So shout out to the Big Sean. He has a joint on there with Nas that we heard. Hopefully that's going to be on the album. Nas went crazy as usual.
Sounds Magic 1-esque.
It does. It sounds Magic 1 or KD 1-esque. Like a blend. But
Hit Boy on the production.
You heard it yet? Cool.
No.
I'll send it to you. He's going crazy on it.
I was talking about his relationship with the industry, man. It's
as long as it's better than Replace Me, I'm cool with that.
Oh, it's not even a question.
Not even a question. Not even close.
Oh, poor sportsmanship.
Absolutely. So fellas, last topic. We're going to give our official rating to M and to Common's album. We want to start with M.
Well, I want y'all to kind of take the lead because I already got the chance to sit down with my brother last Saturday and do some of the breakdown, but it's not an official breakdown, without the Hip Hop Talks crew. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts and y'all's ratings for the album so we can get our rating system right. And I think because I think both of these albums make our top 20 list.
Yeah.
And which means I think we need to, as albums actually come out that actually crack our top 20 albums of the year, I think we need to post our list every time somebody cracks our list so we're actually keeping it current. So I think we need to find out not only the rating, but also, after we're done with the show, talk behind the scenes and kind of place it out about where we have it ranked for the year.
No doubt.
For me, since I'm the resident M guy, I'll go real quick first, but I think y'all gave it a 3.5, Coop.
Yes.
Was that 3? I think that's fair, but what I will say about the album is that it was very enjoyable for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? No. It was, I've been going back to it, listening, and as far as the concept that I said way back on the show where we had Low on here, everything that I asked for in this album, as far as conceptually, he did that. So I don't really have anything to complain about. The joints I really like a lot. Lucifer might be my favorite beat on there.
Yep.
Renaissance, the intro is dope. Fuel is crazy. Shout out to JID. He murdered that.
Nuts.
And then Eminem is spitting on that crazy. I like Guilty Conscience too. Toby's still one of the dopest joints. For me, it got joints on there. I really enjoyed the album. And personally, it's my 5th favorite Eminem album. I would go Eminem Show, Marshall Mathers LP, Slim Shady LP, Relapse, and then this. I think this, for me, just edges Recovery because I had Recovery in that 5th spot before. So, that's basically all I got. And I think for me, it didn't disappoint. Does it move him up the list any? No. Does it drop him down any? No. But did he put out a solid effort that I think is an enjoyable listen? Yeah, so I think 3.5 is a fair rating, and I give it the same.
Okay.
I think my problem with giving him this rating is that if a 3.5 cracks your top 5 and you're a legend, this is what I've been saying about the catalog. So my only critique isn't actually that the album isn't good. It's actually very good to me.
Mhm.
Above average. It's an enjoyable listen. Conceptually and rhyme wise, super impressive to me. The peaks on there are high, and you pretty much came with the same peaks that I did, which is Fuel,
Mhm.
Lucifer. I think the album actually should have ended at Guilty Conscience Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Because I do feel like those songs after that, outside of Toby, are kind of like touch and go a little bit, and it fucks with the flow a little bit.
The
But
content songs weren't as good quality wise, like the temporary. Yeah, but
right,
he, to me, he delivered. And
I agree.
if you didn't like Eminem, if you wasn't a fan of the Slim Shady persona or any of that
Yeah.
to start with, then why'd you
Yeah,
press
about
play
the
on the
feel stuff.
record? Like, you wouldn't get anything that would make you an Eminem fan that he hasn't done already on this record. So
No, I agree. I totally agree with that sentiment. So what say you, Sean?
I give it a 3, and here's why.
Ugh, 3.
Do I find it? Yeah, I find it entertaining. First listen, I thought it was entertaining.
Okay.
I like the song. The songs I like might be a little bit different what you guys like, but I enjoyed it was Trouble. I enjoyed Trouble. I wish it was longer. I think Trouble has one of the best beats on the album, to be honest. I wish it was longer. Of course, I love the Toby joint. I love Guilty Conscience too, because it just kind of gave that nostalgia. I love Somebody Save Me, and I love Temporary. I love
Temporary, forgot about that joint. Yeah,
with that one. I felt Temporary. When M makes songs like that, he does it at a high clip.
yeah.
It kind of gets you in the heart, because especially all of us, we have daughters, and when I was actually flying when I was listening to Temporary, and it had me thinking like, man, my daughter has a game Wednesday night. I'm not going to be able to see her play. This is going to be the best competition she's going against. And I'm in my mind, I'm thinking like, I wish I could be there to kind of coach her through going against this competition. The team that she's playing against, they played against that team earlier this year, and the game got stopped in the first half because parents about to fight. It was that bad. It was like crazy. Madison the Palace Part 2. And my daughter called me. This is after I was listening to the song Temporary. My daughter called me Wednesday before, I'm about to fly out. And she said, Dad, can I ask you a question? I said, yeah. She said, on Saturday when we have our game, can I show my true colors? I said, what do you mean? She said, can I get more aggressive on the court? And I'm like, baby, you can. And I melted when she said that. And I immediately went to that song Temporary, because it's one of those songs where, as Black fathers, we work very hard. And not saying that other races don't, because we all do, right? But I think it's a different type of vibration when we work hard for, the ones that we love. And we want to provide them with things that we probably grew up that we didn't have. And we don't want them. I want to give her the world. I want to give her everything that I always wish I had. I work for her, not for me. And it was one of those things where I felt like, man, I understand where M's coming from, because the success that he has, is major. He can't go anywhere anymore in his life without being Mobb. And he had to miss a lot of time watching his kids grow up, or watching his daughter grow up. He missed a lot of great moments. And I see that here and there with me in pockets where I miss, out on things for my daughter, because I do travel a lot. But it's all for her. So songs like that always get to me, because it gives me a chance to reflect, and M does it at a high clip. So with that being said, the other songs on there, I got tired of hearing about Christopher Reeves. I got tired.
Yo, did you like Road Rage? Road Rage is one I forgot to mention. That joint's dope to me.
Road Rage is good,
man, but it's just the replay value to me is low, honestly. And I think that's why I got it at like a 3, because I think the replay value, if you were to ask me about this album 2 weeks from now, I'll probably say I haven't listened to it since, to be quite honest. I think the replay value, because an album like this, you damn near have to listen to it from front to back, just because the concept of the album. You can't
that was his intent, I believe.
That's the intent. You can't listen to it out of place unless you can't put in your car and put it on and ride around like, yo, I'm listening to that. It's not for that. It's not for you to be around the house, cleaning up or whatever, doing whatever. You can't lounge and listen to this kind of music. You have to listen to it, get what you can get from it, and it's entertaining. It's an entertaining record, but I can't have entertainer on repeat like that. You know what I mean? So for me, I have it at a solid 3. I can flex to a 3.5 just because of the high levels of he's rapping. Don't get me wrong. He's rapping. That he checks the box, the entendres, the flow, the cadence, the cleverness of his rhyme skills and his rhyme
voice
style.
is normal. Like that's a big thing for me because like he's not doing any crazy.
You want to know what?
But you go to Temporary and he's the inflections is more personable, right?
Well, there is, even for the childish rhetoric, there was something more adult and grown up about this album. When I heard Temporary, I said to myself, this is a product of Nas making Daughters and the impact.
Absolutely.
But
he was supposed to be on the remix. I'm mad that didn't happen. Nas wanted to get Eminem for the Daughters remix, and it didn't come to fruition.
Could totally see that. But when he steps into those realms, I just don't know if it's what he does best. And much like Daughters on Life is Good, as much as I relate to Temporary, it's not the best record. It's not one of the 3 best records in my opinion. I do think Lucifer is better. I do think Renaissance is better. I do think Toby is better.
The beat on Lucifer, like, is dope as Eminem's rapping on that. I wanted to hear Method Man on that beat. I was like, I can hear Meth killing this beat. Like,
I think the beats were mid. I honestly do. I think and that's why I got it down so low, because I do think the beats were mid. I think the rhyming was there, the rapping was there, the concept was there. But again, fellas, I just got tired of hearing Christopher Reeves. I just got tired of it, man. Like, come on.
Is it a top 10 rap album this year?
No.
To me, it's not.
Not top 10, no.
Well, then we need to.
And that's tough.
It slid into our top 20, but if you go on 10, no, it's not there.
Okay. Well, let's figure out where it goes, and let's go to an album that is going to make our top 10.
Yes. So let's go to Common, because they actually got a tour coming out as well. They just announced the tours.
That's dope.
That's dope. I love the rollout. I love everything they did with this album. Cool. What did you guys give it? You gave it a what's it? I think you give him a 4, and a 4.5 or something like 5.
I feel like I was feeling
4.25.
I'm feeling more 4.25 at this point. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I think the sequencing on this album could have been done better.
I agree.
I don't love the way that this album, like, I feel like Dreaming. It's funny. My 2 favorite song intros this year are from Chicago natives, I Am God with Wise Souls, and then Common with Dreaming. I'd still pick Wise Souls over Dreaming, actually, but I love what Common's doing with Dreaming because it's perfect. Like, that song's a perfect way to start off a Common and Pete Rock album. You know what I'm saying? Sonically, conceptually, and lyrically. But I do feel like that they didn't sequence this properly. I feel like songs like I felt like, how about this? After Dreaming, I feel like the record should go into All Kinds of Ideas and then Wise Up. Like, go bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? And this album didn't do that. It's funny. I had a conversation with Jarv actually behind the scenes on Saturday. We were texting and we both were talking about how, like, this album doesn't have any angst to it. Like, he's like, I called the shit happy on my pod, Coop. And I was like, I don't know if it's happy. I was like, it just doesn't have any angst. And he was like, yeah, he's like, that's the word. This shit don't have no angst to it. It's not gritty at all. It's almost like B and like Water for Chocolate have moments where it's like, you know what I'm saying?
There's no The Corner on here.
There's no The Corner on here or Shy City. There's no South Side. Like, there's none of.
It's no punch. There's no punch to it.
Yeah, it's like, remember we was texting behind the scenes, Coop, and I was like, man, it's like all the songs are, pretty great, but it's the same vibration throughout the whole record. And a lot of times that's great for cohesiveness, but it's not those, spikes in the vibes that hit you. You know what I mean? It's not like, say for instance, Wise Up. Wise Up, like you perk up a little bit, like, yo, this is a banger right here.
That's the closest thing to it, though.
Right, and it's not enough of those, and it's so even killed throughout. It's lacking that punch that to make it a little bit more versatile, and and that might be that's who Pete is with the production, and I respect that. But at the same time, for me, after multiple listens, it came off kind of melancholy, but it's still great.
Like, how about this? It's almost like he's happy but wants you to be hopeful. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how the album comes off. And it's like, I'm not saying we don't need that. I'm just saying, like, it's a full-length player. Switch it up. Like, I wanted to hear some of the energy be switched up after a few listens, and I wanted to hear some of the rhyme styles be switched up. And so, although I don't think that there's a weak point in terms of it having a bad song, I'm not even so certain that it's better than Rhapsody's album after listening to it about 5 or 6 times. Like, I can tell you certain that it's better than Rhapsody's album. Now, the production, the beats are better. But because of the sequence, and I can't even tell you that the executive production is better. Are the beats better than Rhapsody's album? Yes. Is the executive production better? Well, no, because there are sequencing issues, in my opinion. And Common, you know who Common sounds like on this album? He sounds like a great ball player that's kind of that missed a year because they had a knee injury or because they tore an Achilles. And so it's like, oh no, it's that guy. It's like when Dominique tore his Achilles. It's like, oh no, that guy could still go get you 25 to 30 points, but he wasn't coming down and windmill and jamming on 3 people in traffic anymore. You feel what I'm saying?
But that adds to what I was saying, because Common's kind of monotone, right? In his delivery.
So I just think Pete Rock is the star of the show on this album. The production job is stellar. I think that Common could have switched up his flows more. And here's the thing too, and I will knock Pete for this just slightly. Just because you have a great rapper and you want to get comfortable with them and you want to make beats fit this in their pocket, let's not confuse why this Nas and Hit Boy run was so good.
Absolutely.
Hit Boy challenged Nas with different stuff to rhyme over. Like
it's
when the beat
range.
27, like when the beat the 27 Summers dropped and I heard it, I was like, what the fuck is Hit Boy doing? And then Nas started rapping on. I was like, oh, that's what he's doing. He's challenging him to do something different.
Yeah, got your comfort zone.
Getting out of his comfort zone, because Common is all-time great. You can push him out of his comfort zone. And so I need an AG, to your point, I felt like the beats that were like interludes to the ends of albums, I felt like those were more out of comfort zone beats and more energetic beats.
Some of those sounded tough, man.
Some of those sounded
tough. I was frustrated.
I was like, no, take that beat off, put this beat on, and let's rhyme to this. But maybe we'll see that for the auditorium too. And so I'm looking at it in a lot of the ways that I'm looking at a KD1, and I gave KD1 a 4.25, and that's exactly what I'm giving this album. I think it's very comparable to KD1.
That's fair. And to me, it edges the Rhapsody, but not clearly. You know what I mean? I think it's a conversation to be had there. I would have it at the top at the album of the year, but it's about expectations. Like, I had certain expectations for the Common and Pete Rock, and then the Rhapsody exceeded expectations for me.
Right.
So, but I would put it slightly ahead of the rap. But one thing I will say, then you can go, Sean. I'm impressed with the rollout of this album, all the press they've been doing, CBS Mornings. Like, regardless of what we rate the album, I think it's setting itself up to win a Grammy. Because if you remember, the way they're rolling this out is very Michael-ish.
Yes, very Killer Mike-ish.
Yep.
It's a lot.
I like that for Common and Pete Rock if they win Best Rap Album, but I don't like. How about this? After the clips come, after this LL and Q-Tip come, should we actually by some chance get a Nas and Preem, a J. Cole album, a Kendrick album, a Drake album? Do I think this is going to be the album of the year? Even if it's the album of the year right now, it's not about to end that way.
Well, we don't know don't rule out them dropping Volume 2 either.
And but my expectations for this album was for it to be album of the year quality, in terms of like in December we're going to be having a conversation about if it's still album of the year. I don't think it met those expectations, because how about this, when the year is over, I expect it maybe to be in the top 5 but probably 5th.
Yep.
But do you feel like releasing 5 joints prior to the album drop maybe hurt it a little bit as far as the listening experience?
I think you got to kind of like reintroduce yourself to your audience, like L talked about in his interview. And so I like the way that Pete and Com like reintroduced themselves. But now that you've reintroduced yourself, get to it. Like get to it. Like I expect the auditorium. Like if this is comparable to KD1 and I'm giving it the same ranking, it's like, well, let's see.
Level up.
Let's see if you can level up. Let's see if we can get a rare.
Mm-hmm.
I'll settle for a Death Row East.
There we go.
Knew it was coming. Knew Death Row
Chicago
East. Yo, Armand Super Chat says, "Peace. The Auditorium's album of the year and sounds better than Pray for Paris and Alfredo."
That is ridiculous.
I don't know about that. Either one of those. I don't know about that.
You want to know what's crazy? Is I actually just went back. I guess I was feeling nostalgic. I went back and I listened to Pray for Paris and Alfredo. And maybe I'm partial to those albums because me reviewing and covering those albums in the podcast form is kind of what ushered me into this sphere, specifically those 2 albums. Yeah. Man, Alfredo and Pray for Paris are still top 5 rap albums for me for this era.
Both 5 out of 5s.
Yeah.
Easy 5.
Alfredo was there.
Like, it's the type of 5 when you listen to it the first time, you're like, I think that's a 5. Like, first time I heard for Pray for Paris, I'm like, that's a 5. I went and listened to it the other day. Guess what it still is? It's still a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm Nas biased, but when Freddie was upset that Alfredo didn't win the Grammy, he had every right to be upset because Alfredo was like that.
If we were actually picking the albums that got nominated for Grammys, and we were actually picking the rap album that was the best, it was the best actual rap album that got nominated. So if we're going by what the best album should have won, it should have been Alfredo over KD1 if we're talking about best album, because Alfredo's better than KD1.
But Nas is Nas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nas was due. You know what I'm saying? It's not like KD1 isn't like a good choice, and there are other things behind the scenes that factor into like all of those things anyway. But saying this is better than Alfredo or Pray for Paris is wild.
It is. I think in the beginning, we were all prisoners of the sound in the moment because
we wanted it so bad. We wanted it so bad.
Absolutely. And it was refreshing. It was refreshing to hear a Pete Rock beat with Common rapping. Right. And I listened to this album driving in the car, listening to on the plane. I listened to the album in the gym, listening at home. I want to get a vibration from different places, daily routine type stuff. They listen to it. And I came across it's a really good album. Really good album.
It is.
Does it have legs? That was the conclusion I came to. Does it have legs?
I think it has legs, Sean. I just don't think it has album of the year legs.
Bingo. And that's what I'm getting at. I think that the replay value is not high because even after listening to it, maybe the 3rd or 4th time, I was like, I think I'm close to being done. Because I didn't find myself going back to several songs to replay. And I think it has a lot to do with, as you mentioned earlier, did the rollout kind of put a little bit of damper in listening to the album itself?
Well, no. Okay, so when I listen to the album now, I'm like, okay, I know that you guys can do the variation of this style on this level. Are you all going to challenge each other and step your game up? Common, are you going to find some new flows? Pete, are you going to give him some different beats? Let's go. This is what I mean. So listen to how invigorated Q-Tip and LL sound on the track third.
Yes.
Can't you hear them challenging each other? Like through the rest, can't you hear it?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that, Coop, because I think this album sounds very New York, with Pete's beats, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think that's a challenge in a degree? Because it's not like
not for Common.
the Chicago sound that Kanye, Dilla, or No ID gave Common. This is a New York sound.
I hear what you're saying, but like I've said, of all the MCs that have ever existed in the history of this rap game that are not from New York, this is the guy that pulls off East Coast fundamental hip hop better than anybody else that's not from New York.
That's fair.
And so it's not that far of a stretch for him.
Right. When you listen to B, Common was on the attack.
Yeah.
Like a boxer
It's
chasing
different.
another boxer around the ring. On
Yeah,
this
yeah,
one,
album.
on this one, he was just like, I'm coasting. I'm coasting in each round. I'm gonna win this round, but I'm not going to attack in this round.
How about this? You
But
know what I thought about?
whose fault is that though? Like, because we're saying that Pete Rock was the star, but at the same time we're saying he's not challenging Common, so Common's just coasting. So does Pete need to like come with better production and more range? Because I think the range is where the problem lies.
So you know what I thought about? I actually thought of this album today when he was talking about the 40 tracks with Dre and how he didn't release them because he's essentially saying I don't feel like they're LL Cool J and Dr. Dre level.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say this respectfully. It's like, well, if you're a top 10 producer, you're a top 10 to 15 MC, maybe top 10 MC.
Right.
The results need to reflect that. And so when L's talking about what's going on with Dre, L's looking at it from the perspective of like, well, you know, top 5 producer, top 5 MC is how L looks at it. And so it needs to meet those expectations. To whom much is given, much is expected. So with Common being one of the best catalog holders and MCs in hip hop history, and Pete Rock being definitely one of the best beat makers and producer in hip hop history, and all the enormous and big moments they've had separately throughout their career, collectively, when you come together, we do want to be wowed. And this album is just really good. It's not wow.
And maybe that's the intent, because again, it might be a series. This is volume 1. So maybe this is the setup. This is round 1. Let's set the tone.
Look, the outro needs to be how the next album starts off. That beat that's playing. Like, no, volume 2 need to start off with that. And they need to like go. And like,
I would, if we're just talking about how we would rather something go, I'd rather this be really good, volume 2 be a level up, than this be a knock it out the park 5 mic classic, and then volume 2 be a fall off. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have the build up too.
Yeah. Because we kind of got that build up from Nas, but KD1. Then
Sure did.
And then
KD1, 2, Magic, KD3 was all like, you know.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. When KD1 came out, I was like, this is an appropriate swan song for the greatest rapper of all time. That's exactly what I thought KD1 was. I was like, you want to know what? I was like, this is great place to stop. I was like, because this isn't as good as Life is Good, but it's good enough. Nobody's, you know what I mean? I'm like, no, it's hard to make an album this good. And then he came, I was like, oh shit, we got a problem.
But still to this day, even though that Hit Boy run is albums better than KD1, KD1 is to me his best easy listening album that he's ever dropped.
Exactly.
By definition.
I don't know about that. I think Life is Good. I would still put Life is Good. But here's what I tell you.
Digestible.
This is what I mean about challenging him, though. It's like, no, some of the beats on there, it's like when I heard Spicy drop, I was like, what the fuck rapping over this? It's like, is this a Nas album?
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what I mean about like, well, I want to.
But that's that young boy energy. Pete's cut from a certain cloth where he's, you know,
have to challenge the artist.
Yeah.
Like they're great. Like you know what I mean? Like when you got a finely conditioned athlete, it's like no. Like you gotta push them still. You know that they're finely trained and conditioned. You still have to push them. You still have to require stuff of them. And so when Hit Boy is doing stuff like Spicy in 27 Summers, it's like, no, that's challenging a great. And I just wish Pete, all beats are great, would have given him some more challenging great beats. It's not like he doesn't have those. He's Pete Rock.
Yes, but he doesn't have that young boy energy and that other tenacity like a Hit Boy. Because
call
Hit
some
Boy,
call some young niggas. I told you I want Hit Boy in the studio whenever Nas and Pring do this project.
Yes, he got to be, because he's the one that's telling Nas like, "Yo, talk about what you just did today." Okay, it's one IPO to the next one.
I'm not gonna lie, Coop. Hearing that leaked Big Sean record, hearing Nas over Hit Boy production again, I was like, "Yo, we called that 1-800 number, man." Like that joint's crazy.
We need it now. We need it right now.
Send that to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. And those of you who are watching, that's the dope part of being a part of our Discord, because we actually put everything out there on Discord. So we actually put the leak on the Discord. Shout out to a homie who did that for us, who put the leak out there. And we have some other stuff out there where we know when albums are going to drop, because we got those who are connected inside the Discord as well. So that's the beautiful part of being part of the Discord. And just real quick, shout out to Apple. I just saw a note came through that we got some fan mail in Apple. Those of you who pull up on the Apple, continue to subscribe and actually, play our joints while you're riding around. I just saw some fan mail that I'm gonna share with Coop and AG after the show is over. So thank you for those of you who actually pull up on Apple and Spotify and rock with us. But continue to rock with us on Facebook. I posted a Facebook channel in the chat earlier, and I also posted our Discord link in the chat also. We put a lot of stuff out there for you guys to continue to converse throughout the day. We talk about hip hop all day long. Bunch of hip hop fans in that Discord.
I might come back in the Discord. I might make a special guest appearance.
You got to, man. It's a lot, man.
16 bars right quick.
It's a lot, man. You'd be going crazy in the Discord, man.
I know, that's why I got out. That's why I got out.
It's the Wild West over there.
No. It's like you go to the concert, like all the other social media apps.
Yeah.
It's like the rest of the venue, but then there's the mosh pit, and that's what Discord is.
That's what it is. That's a good example.
The mosh pit.
It is like the mosh pit. You got Trife Diesel in there. You got
bruises.
Crazy Jack and the three personalities that accompany him.
Crazy Jack.
Crazy Jack.
Crazy Jack.
Everybody.
We got the spin-off chat, and then Taj, I don't know why she did this, but she made my son Jordan a moderator. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Wow.
Great. That dude is sick.
Like Jesus.
That dude is sick, man.
Need that young energy, man.
Not that kind.
Nah.
Dude is sick, man.
Yo,
I'll co-sign that. We don't.
Yo, it's time for us to get up out of here. So are we cool with the Eminem 3.5 and the Common 4.25?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Again, thank you all for showing up tonight. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on IG. Follow us on Twitter, Discord, and Facebook. Pull up with us. We connect back. We talk back. We have debates throughout the day. We're probably going to have another show popping up really soon too, because we want to get back to you all as soon as possible, so we can have some more conversations and more back and forth and more of these type of dialogues around hip hop and about everything as well. You saw what Coop did earlier in the show, talking about things that I can't talk about, but he can. Sean, all
I'm saying is that, well, I thought about this. Bill Maher should do Murder Was the Case because, well, he lives on the West Coast. He's a big weed smoker.
On camera.
Perfect. Bill Maher doing Murder Was the Case would be the shit.
Yo, this is crazy. Yo, we gotta go.
The I Shot You remix with Obama and Bill.
We're gonna end this game.
Yo, the fact that you took time to